Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 8, When We Are in Need. And we were in need for this kind of episode, and we got it. Episode 8 of The Last of Us might be my favorite episode of the season. It really delivered in what I wanted. In fact, I'll go as far to say when I was going into hearing about the show and getting excited for it, seeing it through someone like Joe's eyes or some of the people that played the game's eyes, this episode was kind of what I expected. I expected more of what this felt like. We'll break it apart. I'm sure Joe will have his stuff. Joe will be here a little bit later this evening. He's picking up the crow again, but he'll be popping in any minute. But I'm, of course, not alone. We already got some voicemails, and if you want to get your voicemail in, you can call on in at 781-990-8509. Again, that number is 781-990-8509. 850 what? 8509. Sorry, I'm still shooken a little bit from the end of that episode. I shed a tear because I was missing you. It's still okay to smile. I got intense. I felt it. Ellie showed that bloodthirsty Klingon-ness that I needed to see out of her from what everyone's telling me about her. Joel had an amazing episode, and what he got to do in this episode, this was just a really excellent, for me anyways, however long hour of television that I watched. And I'm wishing we got a few more episodes like this, but this was still a great episode, and I'm glad we got it, and we're going to talk all about it tonight. And as I mentioned, I'm not alone. I have with me tonight, of course, the beautiful, the best, the amazing, the live chat. Then we got the live chat. That's weird that I shut the music off in the middle of the live chat. Motherfucking chat. Dead silence. No, let's get into the live chat. Let's see who we got with us tonight. We got Laura. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Sonic, our channel members. We got Heineken. We got Luna. We got all of our good friends. We got a bunch of channel members. We got Carol Lee. We got Regime. We've got Steph Snow. We got Rishi. We got Apulia. Hello, all. Great episode. I think the writing was great. Acting was good. And Bella was fantastic. Dave was a complete creeper. Teacher, preacher. What the fuck? And I thought the buildup of it was done well. Obviously, you knew something creepy was going to happen. As creepy as my mustache right now. You knew something creepy was going to happen through this whole situation. And the way it got led in, I thought was really well done. I wasn't sure which direction they were going to go with it. And I'm glad that right away we didn't sort of have any mistakings about David being a good person. They hinted at it for like a second, but once someone's telling you how much of a good person they are, you know they're pretty shitty. Everyone, I'm a great person. I'm a great person. You should trust me. I'm great. Look at this horrible mustache. You should trust me. Killmonger says this episode was mid. That is what we're here for. If you did not agree with me, call on in. Tell me why you didn't like this episode, of course, or why you thought it was middle of the road. I'd love to hear it. 781-990-8509. I'm going to try to get to all of the live motherfucking chats I can get to tonight. But if I somehow miss your message, you can also text on in that number, 781-990-8509. And get in your thoughts about this. And we're going into the final episode. If anyone doesn't know, this is the final episode is next week. We don't have 10 episodes. We have 9 episodes. Keep those hearts coming. I don't know where it's coming from. It still freaks me out, but it's happening. And do it. How in the hell is there only 9 episodes? Absolutely, Heineken. That's what I'm asking. And I'm sure Joe's going to have a lot to say about that when he gets here. Uncle Phil, sit on the catch-up couch, Sonic. Joe is going to complain that there's no zombie dead baby girl. Steph Snow, check out 1923. I'm writing an outline so I'll get all my points across. We got Slim's going to call in later. Please call in. Please share your thoughts as we got 2 more episodes. Excuse me, not 2. I wish. This is the 1 more episode of The Last of Us. I want to hear some of your predictions for the finale, without spoilers, of course, just what your expectations are or what you're thinking about this episode, coming off this episode and looking back now we have to look back at the whole season now that we're almost done with it. But definitely call on in. They could have just made it 10. They should have made it 10, Killmonger the Rebel. Now I see his face. It's pretty. Oh, I'm a believer. Yeah, where the hell did the hearts come from? I still don't know. I was watching someone else's live the other day, and I'm not sure where the hearts are coming from, but I'll take them. Bring them on. Bring them on. Bring them. Slap them all across my face. The porn stash, motherfucker. What's up, Nola Boy? Great to have Nola Boy in the live chat. What's up, Phil? And Joe, another great episode. I wanted Ellie and David to team up in the game and kill the infected like father and son. Sorry, I was going to put on my Darth Vader mask and do... Join me, Ellie, and we will rule this galaxy as father and, well, creepy, twisted people. Sorry. You know the word I'm talking about. Like freaking scumbag motherfucker. Let's rule the universe as daddy and oh my god, as creepy daddy. Okay, this episode 5, we're just fire, says Rishi. And I don't want the finale to be next week. I like Bella, but I don't see her being able to carry the show. Absolutely. Undead. We're going to get into that later. Rapper Dave and Duck Dynasty Boys were both deranged. The hearts are next to the comments on my phone. Thank you, Rakes. And great to see Rakes. And then we get the Inglewood Rose. I hit the heart by accident. Don't hit the heart by accident. Hit it on purpose. Inglewood. Slap that heart across my face. I need it. I need that shit. Atari Dad says, I feel like they were trying to make this show more realistic and believable from the video game and everything about how the fungus spread to the actions of the scenes that played out. The only problem is that this kind of story that they're trying to tell isn't really conducive to a grounded, realistic action. Joel and Ellie need to be leaving a trail of dead behind them in order for this story to work. And part of your point right there, Atari Dad, I'm going to take and run with it, this sense of like, that's how I felt at the end of this episode. I felt like they were leaving a trail of freaking bodies, and it was awesome. And they were just walking out. You know, Joel had his trail of bodies. She had her trail of bodies. I like how they didn't shy away from it. There was a few cutaways, but not anything that put off. They didn't shy away from showing us some graphic stuff in this episode. It felt more, I think Steph Snow said this in the chat earlier, so I'm piggybacking on this. It felt more like a horror thing going on at times in this episode. I felt the energy. Again, it felt actiony. We had the stuff with the flashlights with Joel that felt very game-like. And I just thought this episode had a lot of life to it. Whether it's perfect or not, you know who's coming. They'll tell us because people can give a crap what I'm thinking, you know, because I'm me and I'm impressed by shiny lights, but really when it comes to this show, all that matters is what did Joe think? That's right. What did he think? What did that asshole think? Where is he? Show up. Okay, so as we wait for Joe, let's get to some of your comments in the live chat. Slim says, I'll forever hate HBO for only allowing 9 episodes for this show. I'm not going to necessarily blame HBO right now, Slim. I need to find out the truth of the matter of the situation. This could have been a show creators thing where they're just like, we just need 9 episodes to tell this story. I wonder if HBO, I mean, maybe because HBO's gambling on it, it'll be curious. Like they're gambling on any series. It's a new series, and you don't know how something's going to do, and video game adaptations haven't always done well, so you could see that maybe HBO was trying to cut costs to a certain extent and only give them 9 episodes. I'm wondering, from listening to them talk at the end of every episode, it seems to me that they're going to, whether that's the case or not, they're going to intellectualize like, the story we needed to tell was 9 episodes. That's it. We didn't need the 10 episodes. And I'm just a selfish mother grabber when it really comes down to it. The show is serviceable. It does its job. This was an excellent episode of television. There's been several really great episodes of television this season. I'm just an indulgent person that comes from like back in my day. I mean, the TV shows weren't as good, but we got like 26 episodes. You know how many episodes were in a season of Star Trek The Next Generation were all of them home runs. Some of them were on that same goddamn set in the desert or that underground set the Next Generation had, or the town that every single town they went into looked the same, whether it's the Picard Inner Light town or the town that Worf's brother Paul Giamatti, or not Giamatti, Paul Sorvino brought them into the whatever, like or episodes of seasons of Deep Space Nine, or 24 was 24 episodes, I think. Or I'm just saying, like, shows were, and they're not as high quality as some of these HBO shows, but I mean, The Sopranos were well, how many episodes were in Sopranos seasons? 10, 11, 12, something like that. So they've slowly but surely trickled it down to 8 or 9. I'm a big believer of take as many episodes as it takes to tell the story. That being said, I'm a greedy prick. And when we get episodes like this, and the episode previous to this one, not previous to this one, 2 episodes back, that I really enjoyed, that I really feel it's building on the relationship of Ellie and Joel, which I think is the highlight of this show, and that I could have even dealt with one more episode of time before we get to whatever our finale is. And that's my only overall season wish list kind of thing. Like, I wanted more episodes like tonight. Tonight was fun. So a lot of quiet in the first half of the episode. The quiet in the first half is fine when you get the payoff at the end. And this episode had a great trajectory. I said it. Fuck yeah. I mean, I said it poorly. It was slow moving on that one, but the word came out. And I enjoy that. I enjoy the way it slowly progressed to an explosion point, to the end point of this episode that just exploded good television goo all over my body. I was going to say my face, but I'm saying a lot of stuff in my face tonight. I got to vary where the television goo is splashing. So let's continue down in the live chat and see what you guys are saying. Phil, shut up. Phil, as a non-game player, am I following the story good? Pretty good. There's times where I feel that certain characters are being introduced that I can tell are game characters, and I'm supposed to know them from the game, and they have a little bit of that, hi, remember me kind of vibe, where a little bit of that Jesus from The Walking Dead stuff, like, hi, I'm Jesus from the comic book The Walking Dead, remember me? And shouldn't I be important without building my character stuff? But I feel like I'm mixed feelings about the way they do this, but they start every episode out when they have a new character, giving us a little backstory of the character that's going to be introduced. So I don't feel like I'm lost, but I feel that if I had played the game, it would have informed a couple of decisions in the way I'm having perspective on what's going on and understanding who characters were, because they didn't give me everything on screen. They gave a little bit of, this is this character. You should know about this character. So it's not that I'm having trouble following the story. It does feel like we're getting some big time skips. And I don't know if that's how the game feels. Like we're skipping some big chunks of time. And it feels a little, it feels at a frantic pace. And I feel like maybe in some ways I might want it to take its time a little bit more, to help me pay attention more of something that I'm just learning about this universe. But maybe they're saving some of that stuff for the next season, where I'm going to learn even more about the infected. But for the most part, I'm not having a difficult time. But I do feel like if I had played the game, it probably would have been more beneficial, and my watching experience would have been enhanced as seeing a different perspective of that story rather than playing catch up to a certain extent. But Joel was such a badass in this episode. The good moments are so good, but the bad moments are so bad. I said it before series started that 9 was not enough. Episode 3 of Picard was good. Killmonger, I caught up on Picard. And maybe I'll talk about that at the end of the show. I'm not ready to adopt it yet, but I didn't hate the 3 episodes, especially episode 3. I agree. Episode 3 was the better, was not bad, but I'm still cautiously optimistic. I've been hurt before by CBS and Modern Trek. I don't want to fall in love again. I don't want to believe. I'm not sure if I can go there quite yet. But I'm cautiously okay. I'm cautiously optimistic that it might be passable. But they're still going to somehow drop the freaking ball. They do every season. But Killmonger, I'm with you. Jack Bauer never went to the bathroom. He never slept. Back in Jack Bauer's day. Tell me what you know. But we did. It's funny. Like, I wrote down I'm Jack Bauer in my notes because I compared the way Pedro in a different universe would have been a really good Jack Bauer. He could have played that part really well. I'm a Kiefer Sutherland fan. I think he kills it. But even the way he's like torturing. Tell me what you know. I believe him. Oh, well, you're going to kill me. I won't tell you anything. I believe him. Yeah. I'm going to kill you. And that was very Jack Bauer-ish. And I liked it. I thought this episode gave... I think what was interesting and fun about this episode is you can come out of this episode and have a 3-pronged attack on who you think was the best performer in this episode. Ellie had a really great episode. Bella had an amazing episode, especially at the end. When she exploded, her freak out into Joel's arms was so strong and believable in my mind. I definitely loved that. You could say that Joel, in his rage, getting to finally see some of that stuff that Joe had talked about. And Joe's here, so we'll get Joe's thoughts in a moment, see if Joe's going to pee on my parade a little bit here. But or maybe he liked the episode too. So, you, like I said before, you wanted it, you need it, I need it. Let's get Joe into here.
Hey.
How's it going, Joe Dirty Locks? How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Oh my goodness, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So how? Oh yes, Joe's having some drinks. People, I was contacted by several members of the live chat to see if there was anything that I could do or they could donate to get you to drink on every stream. And I was like, I don't want that.
Oh yes, we do want that. Yes, we do want that.
I don't know about that. I saved the phone call.
Might be a big reason why I haven't.
It's true. Joe's the man. Okay, he was giving orders to David. So I was talking a little bit about the beginning part of this episode. I was saying as Joe's getting settled in here, he'll be with us in a second. He's literally just getting home and he's signed on. So Joe will be joining us in a second. I haven't really got too far into the episode, Joe, other than to say that when I got done watching this episode, my main thought was, why didn't we get more of this all season? This was what I wanted.
You know why you didn't get more of this? Because this was almost
this was good.
Ripped directly from the fucking game, Phil. You know what wasn't ripped from the game in this? What the only parts that weren't ripped from the game, and arguably, even though it was done well and highlights how piss poorly it was done earlier in the season, is the alone time we got with David and his flock, right? Now, if you had taken out David and his flock, we could have gotten what we got instead during the game, which was actual violence with runners and another bloater and clickers and shit. That David and Ellie fight together.
So maybe this is a case of me not knowing what I didn't get is making me feel more satisfied than maybe you are tonight, Joe.
No, I am very satisfied.
Okay, you're very sad. See, I'm confused. Did you like the episode tonight?
I did. But what I'm saying is kind of what I said earlier in our streams this season, which is the best parts of this show are the parts that are ripped directly from the game. Like literally the only parts that weren't in this game, in the game, was David preaching to his flock, David smacking that little girl.
Just to give the foreshadow that he's a bad dude.
Right. To give him a little bit of a character
No,
development and
Joe,
story.
they made
Like,
sure that he was one of those bad characters. It's like Meryn Trent from Game of Thrones. Like,
you know how they did
if
it?
he isn't bad, they up it up. He's creepy.
But-
he's eating people, and then he's trying to make her his love child or his like play toy. Like, they just kept upping the like how creepy he was.
That's kind of how it is in the game.
Yeah,
too.
no, I liked it.
Like,
I thought it was.
it's
I didn't
exactly
like
how
it,
it
but
is
I
in
thought
the
it was
game.
done well.
But the way they go about showing that he's not such a bad guy / bad guy is through him and Ellie having to work together and not smacking another little girl in front of his entire flock.
Yeah.
And not doing that preachy shit and then that menacing shit with his number one there. You know, I sense doubt.
His number one guy. I mean
Troy McClure.
Troy McClure.
Troy whatever.
James.
Troy Brown.
Troy James. Troy. But he was, and you're
Troy Barker. Troy Barker.
You're stealing my
Baker. Troy Baker.
Troy Baker. I know his real name. I thought
I don't know his real name.
I thought we were making fun of him.
It took me Troy something.
Okay, I thought we were making fun of him, but I knew his name. But no, he
wasn't bad. He did a good job.
He did a great job in the episode. He did a very good job. Very serviceable as the number one guy, as the Joker's number one guy there. And
like, but
I thought, Joe, before you go, because you might disagree with this, I thought David's performance as our quote unquote bad
Negan?
guy or the
governor
Negan, Gareth.
Claim game.
I thought was unique.
Our baddie of the week.
I thought was a little unique and different. I thought seeing somebody in that way was a little like he had pieces of all of those people, but I thought it was done in an interesting enough way in the way it was handled with Ellie and her, like in her and his dynamic. It was a little Darth Vader, a little like join me, Luke, and we will rule the galaxy as father and daughter.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it. I thought it was good. I liked David tonight. I thought the actor gave a good performance. He was menacing and creepy, and I believed that he believed his own bullshit.
Okay, now let me ask you a question, Phil.
Oh no.
Let me ask you a question.
Don't.
Do you want 2 episodes of David?
Stop.
Or do you want 2 episodes of Kathleen?
Do you have to bring up Kathleen? Joe, right now, in the middle of a good episode, you have to go and open up your...
And highlighted it. It highlighted
your verbal butt cheeks.
for me 2 weeks of horrible
So you would have rather 2 weeks with David's people...
Of not horrible episode, but like good storyline getting polluted with bad writing, bad troping, bad acting,
one thing I do know,
dialogue, bad.
One thing that I do know is I don't know if this was a personal slight against you, Joe Dirty Locks, where because the Kansas City stuff happened instead of the Pittsburgh stuff, they actually mentioned the Pittsburgh stuff in this episode that sounded way more interesting than what we saw in Kansas City. They're like, oh, remember what happened in Pittsburgh? Blah, 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 blah.
Remember, we should have been following you from Pittsburgh.
Remember, we got the member berry of the situation you wanted to see. So I feel like it was a slight to you, Joe.
And that was a literal. We should have been doing this to you, attacking you throughout your journey since Pittsburgh.
So
you should, and like really, because of the extra time they put with him and his flock and shit, I would have much rather seen them having to fight together. They had already done that amicable deal. Like, but here's the thing: they hadn't done the deal yet. The deal hadn't finished, but David sent his dude Troy away to go get it. And there's a whole bunch of action that goes on there that I was prepared for and ready for, that they just fucking left out.
Fair, Joe, and I understand. And maybe if we had, again, to your point, if we had a 2-part episode, it would have been effective to have some of that extra.
Well, they just left out that flock shit.
But or maybe that too. But what I thought was so awesome, and we'll get to it in the breakdown, is the scene with David and Ellie talking, where he has already put it together that Ellie is the one with Joel that killed the dude, and the way he spins that around, and then Troy Baker.
That's right from the fucking game, dude. From the fucking game.
I thought it was done really, really awesome.
Yes, it was.
And I thought that was shocking. It got me in the moment. I was like, what's going on? Well, and we talked a little bit, and I didn't know this shit, and I was like, oh, what? I was Leonardo DiCaprio meme pointing at the television right there. I was like, I see what's what's happening here?
Yep, yep.
And I
That's
thought it was
exactly what
really cool.
happens in the game. That's exactly how it happens in the game too. And the thing is, uh, when it happens after they have all this, like, at any point he could have done whatever he wanted to do to her, right?
Yep.
But in the game, because you have to fight and like kind of protect each other. I mean, it's such a chaotic fight,
You
and
play as
it's almost boss level because you do face another bloat. You face a fucking bloater,
and you play as Ellie during this section of the game. Correct?
And you play as Ellie during this section of the game. Correct. So that when you face this bloater and these clickers that come after you, and the runners that are flooding through, it's really you're protecting yourself and you're just trying to stay alive and you don't really give a shit about David, but David is helping and he's helping keep you alive too.
Well,
so that it makes it that much more
of a shock when it splits.
And a shock when he's like, and I know exactly who the fuck you are, you murderous little fucking cunt.
And I'm gonna make you my
No. And you can still leave with the penicillin. Go.
Oh no, but then okay, it's later that he pulls the whole I'm gonna make you my wife.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And then and that's not until the cage, which she's in a cage in the butcher room too. And I don't know, when I was saying to you, like, they didn't really make it kind of clear. No. I forgot about the dead bodies hanging in the locker.
Yeah. We'll talk about
There's
that.
some things I forgot about, like that like I was like, oh yes.
So I want to get.
I enjoyed this episode a lot.
Nice.
As a game player.
And I'm looking forward to breaking this down and talking about it. So get your thoughts, and we got a full voicemail line. We'll get to all those calls in a second. Let's get to the live chat. Sonic says Ellie's a little monster now, and I like it. I thought that was so effectively done in the last couple of episodes. Even seeing what she can do and what she can pull off. She's fast. The way she kills and moves, she moves like Wolverine-ish. She's got like this cool way she attacks.
Well, she's small. She's low to the ground.
Yep.
But dude,
I'll be right back.
Did you notice this was a question for you.
No,
did you notice any parallel there with a previous episode?
With her running around and fighting.
No. The very end. There's a very specific parallel. Like, you don't see much interaction throughout this whole series.
It's like when Joel beats the crap out of the dude.
Yeah, and you don't see much interaction between them. Him teaching her anything, but in that moment, she goes overboard.
Oh, when she goes
just like
when
he did.
Yeah, when she goes all Mike Myers on his
right.
ass. And
don't
stuff.
Stop until it's done.
Yeah,
that's what Joel did. You don't. How many times have I told you this, Phil? Like, when it comes down to it, you make sure that whatever it is, that person isn't getting off the ground.
Yep.
However you can do it before, like, if it comes down to it, if you tried to walk away and you can't walk away, you just make sure he doesn't get back up off the ground. If you put him on the ground, you make sure he stays there. He stays there, and then you walk the fuck away. But they were past the point of not getting back up off the ground, I think. Which was wonderful. Slight difference there as to when Joel and her
these are Joe's lessons of life.
See each other again, but still. Oh no. That's a lesson. Like, always try to walk away, but yeah, make sure they don't get back off the ground, Phil. But yeah, slight difference there also in when Joel comes across Ellie again. He comes across her as she's still bashing his head in or dicing his head up into small pieces with that cleaver. That's when he comes across her, not after she walks out of the building. Like, when Joel comes up on her in the game, he stops her from continuing to julienne this dude's fucking brains.
And Joe, I gotta give we've given the show its bumps for cutting away and not leaning into violence.
Is that so? Right,
they lean the fuck into violence tonight. They chose violence.
Did they lean into it? I'm not really sure they did. There was some moments.
The Joel scene was they went for it in the Joel scene, and then the Ellie scenes too.
Yep.
Give the show the credit for the way
I'm giving it its credit for that. But what I was going to get at here was, it almost seems like, and it really seems like, that's why they've been holding out.
Joe, this is the
They've been
way.
holding out, cutting away, not giving it to us,
But
so that tonight
they could slap
we
it
would
across
have
our
that
face.
extra, like, oh my God, the blood! Did you see it? It was pulsing, and she even broke the guy's finger, the bite wound,
Do you know what? Do you know?
Joe's wound. They put all their, like. Do you remember Cannibal the musical? You
Of
remember
course,
Cannibal the musical?
of course.
Now you watched of course you watched like them talk about
Yeah, the DVD.
all the
We used to get drunk and listen to the
What-
DVD commentary.
What did they say about their budget? Went into the first 2-minute scene with the guy and all the blood and all the face. This is where their budget went for all the effects. All the bloody
Joe.
gore effects went into this one episode. They were like, fuck, good thing we filmed that first, but now we have to cut all the rest of that
Joe,
shit.
have a spadinkle day. Spadinkle day.
Spadoinkle.
Okay, so let's get to the voicemail line. We got a full voicemail line. Keep the voicemails coming if you can. I'd like to thank our good buddy Dan Blackwell for designing this theme song.
Baked potato.
And here we go. So this is from the wonderful Steph Snow. Put like a baked potato.
Steph
I think
Snow,
I know
precisely
what
what
I
you
mean when I say
It's a
spadoinkle
day.
People that haven't seen it are like, what the flying fuck?
Dude,
are
you need to
two
watch
idiots
Cannibal the musical.
Well, it's not for everybody, but it's fun. It's a good college movie. It's a
great
college
Troy Matt movie.
Train. It's a good, and it's like, but you got to understand, if you're going into it, you're not watching like a high budget film. You're watching a college.
You're watching
film.
a lower budget Orgasmo if you've seen Orgasmo, but
not a musical.
Story.
Completely different. Anyways, Joe, here's our first caller of the night, Steph Snow.
Hey, Phil, it's Steph Snow. Wow, I thought this episode was really good. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah.
I kind of knew what was going to happen, but I kind of didn't. I thought the guy who played Joel from the video games did a really good job. I think his name was Troy Baker. Yeah, I just thought it was really good.
Yeah, we figured that out already.
It sort of brought me back from the haterade. I'm excited to see what everyone thinks, and bye.
Thank you so much, Steph Snow. And yeah, this was a fun episode of television. It had me glued watching and not knowing what was going to happen, and I was way into tonight's episode, Joe.
I was way into it. Too,
I was way into it. I mean, I was a little like at the beginning. I'm like, oh, is this going to be a slower episode again? But no, though I like the progression of the way it's.
No, it was paced very
perfectly.
Well,
perfectly.
It was paced very well. They didn't waste time on David either, as far as us. Now I know I've made my comments about.
Yeah, I think it was kind of needed.
But what I'm saying is, instead of doing what they did in the game, which was what they fought together, which I preferred. I'm not saying they did a bad job with what they did with him and his flock.
Right, they just made a choice. Like this was one of those examples where they made a choice that
on how they were going to tell the story, what parts they. But to that point too, I think they. But it was done well enough, again, where it highlighted how poorly it was done in the other episodes. And then again, because there's now the Kathleen and the David, right? It really made it feel like they were trying to, like, I don't know how to put this exactly.
Are you thinking make
something
up for
about Walking Dead?
Blah,
right?
Blah,
like I
blah,
don't
blah,
know
blah,
how to put it exactly.
Blah 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 blah.
Blah blah blah.
Walking Dead.
And then all those fucking baddies I mentioned 5 minutes ago from The Walking Dead.
But
right, like
we don't need to talk. I definitely hear what you're saying. Yeah, rest in peace, Horsey, Carla Wayne. I gotta applaud this fucking show for that moment in the episode. I talked
killing
about
Shimmer.
No, not killing Shimmer, but just it's one of those TV tropes that bothers me a lot, Joe. Whenever the bad guy or the person that's getting or the good guy's getting away and the person shooting at the person getting away, they never think to shoot the tires of the car or shoot the device that they're driving or trying to get out of there. They always try to shoot at the person.
Phil, we need We need spears.
And
Long as any man.
Long as any
Some
man.
men are longer than others.
Hey,
What are they used for?
this is Joe's one man.
Take out the fucking cavalry.
Joe, you're like doing a one man, like you're Patrick Stewart doing a one man version of Braveheart. But I like how they went after that in the episode. Go down to the corner of the above the liquor store on the corner of 34th and 2nd to see Joe's one-man show, The Braveheart Chronicles, starring Joe Dirtylocks, directed by Phil the Issues Guy. It's going to happen. It's great. It's going to do that. Poor Horsey, but I thought it was a smart move. Let's get to another voicemail. This is from our good buddy at area code 773.
Gentlemen, have you seen the episode, I take it?
We did it.
Definitely a better episode.
Joe, we didn't see it. I didn't see the episode. Look at Joe. Look at Joe's. He's like in a silent movie because he's muted. He's trying to get Katie to get him a beer. He's like,
I'm not muted. Am I muted?
Oh, you were for a second. And it
Look
looked
the last second, right?
anyway, it was you were like,
Things were done differently versus the source. I liked that. I don't know. He would call it a Days Gone reference. But when Ellie was stabbing the dude, David, when he was stabbing David, kind of hoping that they would do like a Sleeping Dogs thing or a Twisted Metal Black thing where they show cutscenes between each stab. I feel like they could possibly add it to more tension or drama or whatever the word is. But yeah, I'll probably be calling on through the night with more comments or questions or both.
awesome. We appreciate it. Keep the calls coming. Rishi says Joe didn't watch the show. He just watched the cutscenes. Shimmer had a baby. David's cult house words are "we eat our own." Peggy says not Shimmer. That's Callus, Joe, or Callus.
But they never call him Callus, and the only horse we see get named is Shimmer, and they take a horse from the stables. We need to assume it's Shimmer, but they never call this horse Callus, and I was waiting to hear the little back and forth between them about, while they were at the college, which they never did, about Callus. I wish you had named it something different. Well, you should have picked the name then, Joel.
Joe, I want to get into the live chat, and as Iron Throne put in the live chat, if you have any comments or questions, we got 10 voicemails waiting for us. We got a text message. Keep them coming in. If I miss your comment in the live chat, text on in 781-990-8509. We got one episode left of The Last of Us. Let us know how you're feeling going into the final episode. But I want to get to what Wolf Spear says in the live chat. I'm retired law enforcement and military. Reason for not shooting the tires out is not protocol because bullets go through the tires and hit and kill somebody. Okay, fair.
Wait. They go through the tires, which are a foot off the ground.
Magic bullet, Joe.
And then hit and kill someone. So instead, shoot at the driver so that there's complete loss of control of the vehicle.
The metal absorbs the bullet more.
Or when it's missed, it's at body and head height rather than ankle and shin height.
Don't give Wolf Spare heart. He's just explaining.
I don't understand. Hey, I'm not arguing with him as to what law enforcement does. He told me a fact that, okay,
right, that's
great.
what I'm saying.
But I'm saying,
we're being
why the
protocol.
fuck would law enforcement do it that way?
Good question, and we'll see if Wolf elaborates. Call on it if you want, Wolf. Shimmer was still half a calf. Yes.
I also want to point out I put all of about half a second of thought.
Yeah, to me it made sense, and then I'm like, I hear you go into things, and then Killmonger's like, it makes sense.
I would imagine like maybe the speeding rubber, the bullet maybe doesn't penetrate or bounces off the rim, maybe that, but like. Same thing with the car, or just miss altogether and go through the glass. I don't know. You got me thinking about some. I'm too drunk to be thinking about this, Bear.
Keep thinking about it. Here we go. Area code 516, Joe. We got Anthony from New York.
Maybe I should go for a ride and figure it out.
From New York, and I've waffled back and forth on this show all season long. I'm a little bit in Joe's camp. At times I'm a little more in Joe's, sometimes more in Phil's camp. Because I know the game, I played the game, I love the game. I'm obsessed over the story in a lot of ways. And it's this episode was the one I was most nervous about, especially because they were trying to get they were going to have to do it in one episode.
They did it.
So I don't know how you guys feel about
Joe, pause. What, were you going to say something?
So they did it. They did it in one episode, and the way they were able to do it in one episode is kind of basically they took out all the action. When you think about, like, from the moment Joe gets stabbed to
You called him Joe, but yeah, Joel.
or the moment Joel gets impaled in the game to the moment at the steakhouse, okay, at the lodge, all of it, all that time you spend in that game is action, killing and trying to get across to the other side of the lodge. The rest of it, all the story, the cutscenes, really amounted to this to like 30 of these 40 whatever 7 minutes of episode time. So they were able to do it, and they did it just fine. Like, you don't hunt a couple of rabbits and then spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes running around after a fucking deer.
I kind of love the hunting wabbit scene where she falls down like Elmer Fudd.
Right in her fucking face.
Yeah, it was great. It was great, and it was very much be very quiet. Elmer's hunting wabbit.
Dude, I really thought they put this episode together well. It was a great representation of the game.
We talked about this. Someone in the live chat just asked Lash. You're 100% correct, Lash. Whatever the damn horsey's name, Mr. Frickin' Ed, Hot to Trot, with Bobcat Goldthwait, BoJack fucking Horseman. Let's raise a cup to the dead horse for the evening. We're toasty to horsey, Joey. I don't know. Have I ever called you Joey in my life?
I don't think so. That's not my name.
No, it isn't.
Not my name.
Have I ever?
There's one person that calls me Joey. That's an ex-coworker.
Can we both agree that that's the first time and the last time I've ever called you Joey?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
But let's toast. It rhymed.
Whoa.
It rhymed. Whoa. And then I'll do it with Keanu. Whoa. There we go.
Whoa.
And then Joey Lawrence. Whoa.
Whoa. No, I'm not a Joey. My mom, when I was like in kindergarten, this is for the motherfucking chat. Little personal moments. When I was in kindergarten, maybe.
Oh, we know they appreciate it. Like, is this about The Last of Us?
It is, and it would be too, because somebody called me Joey in front of my mother, and my mom stood right up and said, "That's not his name. Do not call him Joey. He is not a kangaroo. His name is Joel or Joe or Joseph."
A kangaroo? Was that like a cartoon kangaroo named Joey?
Joel, Joe, or Joseph. If you don't want to call him Joe, she said, if you don't want to call him
Joel,
Joseph, you call him Joe or Joel.
Joel.
J-O-A-L.
Okay, so let's hear the rest of Anthony's voicemail.
About it yet because I haven't looked to the podcast yet, but man, that was
Puzzle Cat.
That was just everything that I wanted. I loved the sort of slow pacing out of David's character and sort of revealing him bit by bit. I think you could probably pick up there's something happening in this little cult like thing, and how they sort of fed that to the audience in a bit of a more of a slow drip than in the game. I know Phil doesn't have that background, but I just love the way they handled it. They stole so many scenes and dialogue straight out of the game, and they really nailed it. There's like a slight nitpick that I have about like the very, 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 very end.
Sorry. I'll get back to your message in a second, but I just want to go to Carla Wayne from Australia. Says baby kangaroos are called Joeys. I did not. I did not know that, Joe. I did.
Yep. She and like I think it was a teacher that had said it, and like she stood up when she said it. She was like, "You do not call him Joey. He is you. If you don't want to call him Joseph, you call him Joel or Joe." So
to what the caller's saying here, and let's finish the caller's point. You're similar on it in the way that it's a change tonight. You maybe like the way that the game did it better, but you're satisfied with the way tonight's episode ended up.
Fuck yeah.
And that I think the caller's basically saying the same thing.
Yep.
In terms of when Joel meets Ellie, and how that differs in the game versus the show. But I loved it, and I just wanted to It's been a couple weeks since I've called in and just wanted to gush.
No,
for
thank
once
you. Do
on
it.
this show.
Gosh.
Even though it's been good, I think this is the show that it finally really. This is the episode that really nailed a lot of things that I love about the Last of Us. And I hope this sort of sets the tone for both next week and any future seasons.
Sorry, people in the live chat are cracking me up saying let's have a drink for Sarah Jessica Parker in the live chat tonight. Carla, it's a good Scrabble word. Carla says I have a grown man mate named.
What happened to Sarah Jessica Parker?
That the horse died, Joe.
Oh.
I had to explain the joke. I'm sorry. I had to explain the joke.
I'm sorry. I dropped a whole bunch of shit, so I spaced out.
No, that's fine.
Pushed a bunch of cat cans.
So we got CIA agents in the live chat. We got Lash. We got Joe Dirtylocks. We got Braga says, rest in peace the dare. He was just looking for some roots underneath the snow. I like this. Rishi says, I like Joe the motherfucking crow. I like that one. Next week is the finale for sure. And
it's Joe and the crow, by the way, not Joe the crow.
And everybody, if you are watching right now, make sure you hit that like button, share this out so we can get out to even more people right now. Keep this pumping, keep this going, spread the word, and let's keep this fun going right now. Let's continue to our next voicemail. We got a bunch of voicemails here tonight, so let's keep them coming, zipping through here. Let's get to area code 309.
Evening, gentlemen in chat. This is Slim Ginsey.
Toast, buddy.
I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible to only have it be one voicemail, but I love.
Let's go in the future. It was 2 voicemails, but you still managed to do it. So Joe, start as we do with our longer voicemails. We don't mind the longer voicemails, but we may interrupt you and talk over you.
Oh no, we will, because you're gonna make points. You're gonna have comments,
and we're gonna be assholes.
You're gonna say shit that's wrong, and
right.
We're gonna have to correct you.
They're also gonna
say
or
agree or right.
You agree. They're also gonna say, why do you have to always go negative? Why do you go the?
I said they're gonna agree with us, and we're gonna have to compliment them.
Okay, you said that was an afterthought because you saw that I was gonna say it. I know you well enough. You were just gonna be mean. Stop it.
You got me drinking again on the show.
I
so
know. We got a couple. We got a couple more weeks. We got next week, and then the week after. Joe and I will be on the following Sunday after the finale to do a spoiler predictions for season 2 stuff. So if you've been holding in those spoilers, save them for the week after the finale, and we're gonna do a full spoiler podcast. Same time. The week after the season finale. So we will be on for the next 2 weeks as if there were an episode 10. But so join us even after next week, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for all new shows we're going to do too. Okay, so let's
before I forget,
yes.
Remind me at the end. We haven't done it in a couple of weeks. Remind me at the end of this show to tell you what I've been watching.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll definitely do a once we get through here. I have a feeling this is gonna be a long night, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. So once we get through this episode, we might stick around a little bit longer for a little after show fun. But so we might talk about some other stuff. But here we go. Area code 309.
Of the episode, it was a 9.5 out of 10 for me. It was really good.
I'm with you.
Pretty close as you can get to being straight from the game. But it would have been
that. That's your point, Joe.
This is coming from someone who knows his shit, who is a very smart man. All right, continue.
Oh, and
compliment paid.
And we got Shorty Womp Womp, the Jersey Princess. I'm ready for From as well. I'll be talking about that with Tony on the pre-show, and then I'll be doing an after show for From. I'm going to try to get Joe into that as well, and maybe do the after show with me on that one.
They dragged the fucking brand.
And hopefully Tony will be able to jump over for the after show, but I am going to be joining Tony for all of his pre-shows, and I can't wait to get into the new season of From, which I think comes at the end of March, beginning of April. I'll tell you more about that show later, Joe. Area code 309.
It's been in a lot of these episodes. It would have been a 10 out of 10 if they would have showed Joel fighting his way back to Ellie like they did in the game. I think that's a huge oversight for them to leave that out, personally. I think it would have helped the audience in that sort of Ellie-Joel relationship thing, instead of just adding the baby girl part of him getting to her at the end. I think it would have added a lot more emotional aspect to it. Because I think this is one of the episodes to where I think it was allowable to leave the infected out, because you actually fight the infected with David as Ellie in that little shack or whatever, and then you move into some like
Bigger
grain
shack.
factory
Bigger
or
shack,
sawmill or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly,
Factory.
but I
shack.
think it was okay for.
Yeah, butcher place or something, whatever.
No. When at the scene that you liked where he's telling her, "I know who you are." Just before that, there's a bunch of action, and they go from that shack where they dragged the deer into and lit the fire into like a abandoned factory that's right there,
and we're definitely
fight all these monsters.
And we're definitely going to finish this voicemail and get to all of your voicemails tonight. If you left a voicemail tonight, we will get to it, even if it means, we'll get to it even over our recap. We want to get to all your voicemails. Braga says, and if Maud Mary shows up, I do have my conga set up for her request from last week to do a Lloyd, what's Lloyd Dauber's bongo serenade. Braga says, the only issue with this episode is how they carry the whole 700 to 1,000 kilogram horse back to their camp. That's a good question.
Yeah, well, they dragged it on the snow.
And we do see the blood on the snow. We do see blood.
Look, they dragged it. I don't know. They went into the woods and they found some sort of rudimentary lathe and were able to drag it back.
So it's like, stop hiding.
That's my answer for how did they? They made some sort of rudimentary lathe. If anybody in the chat can tell me where that comes from, I'll give you 10 betting bucks.
Joe, that's the equivalent.
Those are fake bucks.
That's the equivalent of issues bucks. That's the equivalent of a wizard did it.
I'm gonna leave that part out of this episode. But now we're going into the finale at the end of this episode as like the climax to the buildup of Ellie and Joel's relationship.
We love you,
and you
JC.
leave out that one part of this episode that would have amplified it big time, him fighting his way back to her. So I think that part just falls a little bit short for the ending for me, just as a game player. And we didn't get enough of that from the previous seven episodes for me personally. But like,
I
we
agree.
get glimpses of everything.
I absolutely agree with that. That's something I've been saying from the start. This is something they needed to do. Just having that one scene of Ellie witness Joel's violence and pounding that dude's face in isn't enough, in my opinion. We needed more of them together and Joel exhibiting what it takes to survive, to get through, to do.
Don't forget about.
To be done.
And this is, I just want to bring up one thing because I don't disagree with you, Joe, but I also don't want to forget about 2 episodes ago. Not last week's episode in the mall. The episode before that, which was this Ellie and Joel-centric episode that I think is the forgotten about episode in the season that gave us a little bit more of that. I wouldn't have minded yet another episode too, but we did get an episode that was focused on that kind of stuff.
He,
I thought that was
he taught her how to shoot for 2 minutes.
I mean, we get a little montage of it. We get
He didn't do any violence in front of her. We see them in the cave. Okay, they took an old woman hostage who fed them soup. Oh, you poor girl, let me give you some fucking soup, right? Like, you must be starving.
Motherfucker, I'm starving.
Be back soon.
Fuck you, I'm starving, motherfucker.
Like, we didn't see anything that me and Caller here are talking about. I'm sorry, I forgot who was.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You can call Caller. That's a
caller.
That's a radio trick. Just call Caller.
And what we're talking about here is Joel not necessarily teaching her by this is how you shoot, like the same scene we've seen anytime an adult has to show a child how to shoot a gun. Exhale, never point it at someone, squeeze the trigger, don't pull it. Oh, look, the gun's not broken. Like all that shit we've seen a million times. But what we haven't seen a million times is this is the violence that needs to be done in this world to survive. That very special Rick Grimes moment. I'm going there again. Where he takes Mayor Joel Hale from the Claim Gang and bites his fucking face off in front of his fucking child to show him. Like, that was one moment. Yes, and we had that one moment with Joel as well, beating that dude's face in. But what we don't have is continued example. And you kind of need that in this case, in this series, for this to work better, for you to really understand, like, Ellie might be a little bit of a sociopath, but coming across Joel really allows her to flourish in that. But Joel also does a good job in like, we're not going to kill this old couple in the fucking, you know, in the middle of nowhere whose husband is out hunting rabbits and shit. That's not what we do, right? We're not psychopaths, but we do fucking pop people's kneecaps off when they fuck with us. That's what we do. We don't let them get up off the fucking ground. That's it. You fucked with us. You know, I could have let them live. I could have let both of you live and both of you tied up. But you know what happens when I leave here and you eventually break free and get back to your people and see that I've killed 10 more? The survivors come after us. No. You are both dead now. And Ellie really needed to see this throughout their journey. And we don't have any of that. We also really don't have any of the two of them alone fighting any runners or clickers or a bloater or any of that. The only bloater we see is taken care of, isn't even taken care of, isn't even killed.
We don't see what
Runs
happens to
off with the rest of the fucking runners and clickers that had been fucking trapped in a hole for 30 fucking years, 20 years.
So let's get
like there's a lot of things that the caller and I agree on here about there hasn't been like that one scene that this mirrors is enough. Like, I immediately instantly didn't think of it, and it was
Luna agrees with you. Joe says, damn straight, Joe, that Rick Grimes scene drove the violent point home. Slim says, I'm drunk. Forgive me. Don't apologize, Slim.
And there's another one, too, when Rick fucking chops up Fuckhead at the fucking town fire.
Yeah, he does.
The doctor, he chops them. What? Like, that is what we needed throughout this fucking series. You want to talk about character
I feel
building,
like we got it.
development? You didn't do any of that with fucking
But we
Joel.
got it tonight a little bit. We got it tonight. Joel stabbed the shit out of those motherfuckers. He didn't let them live. He stabbed them and killed them in cold fucking blood.
One once.
And then he killed the other one in cold blood. He killed those dudes in cold fucking blood.
That's not cold blood. That's not cold blood, Phil. That's not cold blood. Well, I don't know what you think is cold blood, but that's not cold blood.
Okay, it's hot blood. He killed him in fucking hot blood.
Daughter slash
they didn't take him.
They
didn't take her.
Whatever the fuck you want. No, you took her.
They didn't take her.
She came down and said, there are motherfuckers
She's
coming
alive.
to kill you. You kill them first. I'm going to try to lead them away. And as far as he knows, it's the same motherfuckers that stabbed him.
Keep those hearts coming.
So,
Joel said, Puzzle Cat says, Joe's opinion on the show is slowly sliding into Kathleen territory. I like that.
No, that's not Kathleen territory. Listen. There's a big difference between what a cat does as a house cat and what a cat does
as an outdoor cat.
As an outdoor alley cat.
I would agree. Murderer.
Okay.
One's a murderer, right? One's sweet.
No. The house cat plays and tortures its little mouse friend that thinks it's having a good time and then leaves its carcass dead and bloodied on the ground for you to eat. Maybe the alley cat just goes out and fucking eats. There's a big difference.
I'm with Anthony in the light. Joel killed like 3 dudes. Okay, Joel
he killed like 3 dudes. Someone else in the chat even brings this up. The whole fucking resort is on fire. The dude that Joel popped the kneecap off of refers to this as a town. We see the resort mess hall is filled with at least 20, 30 people. The building is on fire and nobody comes. So are we to assume Joel kills all of them? Why didn't we see this?
Maybe, but the way they were walking out of it at the end, that's a good point, Joe. I talked about that in the notes. They're walking out of town like there's no one left in town, like they killed every single person in the town. I wanted to believe that because the way they were walking out. We got the wonderful Maud Mary back in here. Maud Mary, excuse me for one
Like,
second.
I'm not shitting on this episode.
No. We're not sure. We both love this episode. We both love this episode.
All of that rant was basically about the season in general. This episode I really liked.
Me too. And I've said this before, Joe. I'm coming out of this episode going, I wanted more episodes like this. But we got Maud Mary here, so I want to do a quick bongo solo to fulfill the request from last week. So let me do this. I'll be right back. Here you go, Joe. Here we go. Take a quick second. Here we go. Let me get back here and Maud Mary, this one's for you.
Oh no. It's at 11:30 p.m.
Okay, there we go.
You got the big drums out for that shit.
Yeah, I got the big drums out. I wanted Maud Mary made a request. I had to deliver on it. And
Those are nice drums. Those. How old are those?
2006 or 7, I think I got them. They were the ones I used in like the Force and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Where are your other ones? Tan ones.
in the other room.
Okay.
The neighbor.
Where's your djembe? Where's your
Trumpet
hitter
was-
box thing?
Where's
The box with the tabs that you hit.
What are you talking about, Joe?
Where are your spoons, Phil? Where are your spoons?
They're not close by.
Oh, fuck.
You happen to pick the right thing.
I was trying to help out the
Thank you. Okay,
chat
so
here.
let's continue it
They
here.
want that shit. They want to hear you banging shit.
Thank you, Joe.
And I gotta say, for all the years I've listened to him bang shit, you do. You want to hear him bang shit.
Thank you, Joe.
It's nice.
Thanks. We got a glimpse
Rhythmic.
of Joel being
I bang stuff good.
There's good thrust. There's good
Hey,
bounce back.
no one wants to hear about me banging anything, Joe.
a badass in this, but we didn't add on again like the fight from episode 6, where Joel fights his way out of the hospital with those guys instead of just having that little tussle there at the end where he gets stabbed. And you had that in this episode. You had him doing the whole interrogation, which was in the game, which is fine. It shows him being a badass like he is, but
Yep.
it's a glimpse of it. We get glimpses of everything.
Too little.
Ellie is a straight badass in this, and
Oh, and my downstairs neighbor is in Italy, so that's why I can make noise tonight.
this is always the part in the game that shows it big time. Like, you get glimpses of that throughout the game still. But
They
this
come
is
back
the
tomorrow morning though, right? At
epitome of
something like
that.
5
of
a.m.
her
No,
badass.
they just left on Saturday.
right here in this episode or in this scene.
And let's listen to the end of 309's message.
Well, this is Slim again. I didn't make it. My last point. We get glimpses of the infected being a problem, but they're always very quickly. Like, we don't get it. We don't get them to be enough of a problem to where it makes Ellie seem like this really special person. that she
Yeah.
really is,
Yes.
and how
Thank you.
important she is to the story and humanity and all of that.
Yes.
To where it sets up to where the finale is supposed to go.
Yes.
Which, in my opinion, is probably not
Joe's having an orgasm to your caller.
Yes.
go
No. Yes.
the way of the game.
Yes.
Joe.
We'll see. That remains to be seen. But y'all have a good
With
night.
all this
Appreciate
talk
it.
of you banging shit,
Yeah,
and that
you're bang-
caller's voicemail, I just jizzed everywhere.
You did.
I'm
Joe
telling you,
exposed it.
that's a great point, and I never put it quite that way. Like that, the whole point of this story is her saving humanity, and the whole part of why she's saving humanity has been removed from this fucking story, largely removed from what we're seeing as viewers. That's a big problem. That's who cares? Like, all these little societies, they're doing just fine. None of them seem to be talking about clickers or walkers or bloaters or any other thing.
Joe,
Oh, they put them in the tunnels. That was nothing. Then they went out and cleared the tunnels. That was nothing. Like,
I don't know what
Zero threat.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm shipping you and that caller together. You guys are cute. So area code 859.
Phil, I know what you want to see. We all want to see it. And what I don't understand is your HBO, you have millions and you've poured millions into this show. And you're only going to do 9 episodes for the first season. I'm telling you, if they would have cut the Kathleen crap out, you know, I mean, Joe's brought it up a million times, but the stuff they rip from the game is always the best.
Joe, is this
Stop
you?
him there.
Is
Stop
this
him there.
you?
Pause him
Is
there.
this you calling
That's
in?
not me. That's not me. Pause him there. HBO has made its bank. Everything HBO is about sex and fucking violence. Its best shows, Phil.
Sex
Oz,
is
Sopranos,
violence.
Game of Thrones, right? These are fucking
Violent.
It's
Yeah,
ass,
the Wire.
blood out.
Yeah, The Wire,
Right?
Oz, even 6 Feet Under is pretty fucking.
What's that other one with Michael?
You're gonna have to give me more than that.
Oh,
You give me more than that, Joe. Boardwalk Empire.
With Buscemi.
Boardwalk Empire.
Boardwalk, right? With this is it's egregious. It's egregious. They made
Stephen A.
You came to this, you thought it was on HBO, you thought you were getting a certain product, and they left a large part of that product off the board. And I kind of feel a little played by that. Yeah, Boardwalk Ion. It's troublesome. It's a great point. He made a great point there.
Let's continue.
And tonight was pretty much right from the game, so they really are going to squander this if they don't pack in some good stuff. There's only 1 episode left, but I mean, for real, for 59 minutes for a penultimate episode, come on, HBO, what the fuck are you doing?
Ha
Nope. It's
I mean,
okay.
come on, give me
Stop
a break,
him.
guys.
Stop him.
It was the end of the message.
Yep. Yeah, give me a break, guys. I agree. 9 episodes, horrible. Yada yada. Largely agree with everything you said in that call. Are they going to be able to finish out what's left? And I'm going to say yes.
Right. I was going to ask you that at the end, but answer it now. You think from coming out of this episode, we asked this question a lot last week with 2 episodes.
Put it out there.
And you were no, but good question though. I mean, it doesn't matter if we answer it now. We'll talk about it again later. But I asked you that last week, and you were dubious. You're more confident about it now.
Absolutely. After witnessing this week's episode, this is exactly what they do. When we come back next week, we're hitting the outskirts of Salt Lake or wherever the fuck they're going to.
Can they finish it in 46 minutes?
Yes, absolutely, because the cutscenes that we get from the game maybe equal 25 minutes from this point out.
Okay, Joe, I want to get to a comment to our awesome friend who
maybe 30 minutes. So yeah, and that even gives them some time to add in some other bullshit that they might want to add in. What have the Fireflies been up to, or some shit?
And Into Thin Air. Make sure if you haven't already, you subscribe to Into Thin Air on YouTube here.
Certainly won't be action.
At Phil and Joe. I'm back, fellas. Been nonstop working on the channel, but I can't get enough of you guys. We've known each other for years. Happy to still see this great content. Respect to you as well for all your great content and all you've been doing amazing. Thank you for the support. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for helping us get to more people because you're a fucking awesome dude. Into Thin Air. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel. And old friends, we've been doing this so long. We have people that have been following us. I was looking at some of our early subscribers. They're still checking out stuff. Thank you to all of our channel members. Thank you to our long times. And you guys are fucking awesome, motherfuckers. Thank you, Ian, for sharing that channel. Mad Sinister's playing Clue while listening to Joe and Phil. It was Ellie with a machete in the restaurant. And let's get to a couple more voicemails. We got the voice of 916, Joe. Here we go.
Yes.
Good evening, Phil and Joe. This is the voice at 916.
Toast.
This was a good episode. Very emotionally impacting, although in my opinion the game had more impact. But besides all that, it brought up some very interesting questions. Say we're 20 years into this apocalyptic thing. What does the community do? Do they follow the herd? Do they try and settle in somewhere? Brings up all those interesting questions. And at what point do they decide to cross over to the dark side? Very
What's that?
interesting. And also,
What's the dark
who
side?
gets off who?
Everything's the dark side. It's you mean the living side with being dark and how you do it. I love dude, it's smooth jazz radio with the voice of 916.
Dude, you know how you do it? You do it like that fucking couple does it, or like that other couple does it. You go find a town that's fucking abandoned, you pick a house, and you start putting up fences and moving cars and doing what you got to do. You do that early on, or you do it whatever point you do it, but like you put up some fucking traps and some, like.
I mean,
there's got to be libraries still.
We've talked about that before, what we would do, and I think that's part of it. So let's finish the 916's message.
Hopefully you pick a place that hasn't been already picked.
Oh, no, Killmonger. Don't remind us what they did to Tig's daughter. What Augustus Hill did to Tig's daughter.
A lot of parallels with Terminus. All right.
Oh, people have been talking about that in the live chat, Joe. Did Terminus copy The Walking Dead, or did Walking Dead copy The Last of Us?
I don't
Terminus?
know when The Walking Dead was first published, year-wise, and I don't know.
There's
exactly
also,
when.
spoiler alert, there's also that excellent reveal in the Walking Dead video game with the cannibal thing that's very well done. I think it's in the first. Is it in the first game, or is it the first one or the second one?
I don't remember.
The Telltale Walking Dead game where
which are fantastic. Anything Telltale, it's a shame to happen to that company. It's
but
awful.
no, they're coming back. But in one of the Walking Dead chapters, they end up at a. I think it's the first one because I think both of them are there. I think it's Lee and what's her name are both there, and it's and I think they end up in a house of cannibals or in some way. It's pretty intense.
It makes sense for any kind of post-apocalyptic world.
Killmonger says first season. Yeah, it does, and it's a good. No matter how much that's done, Joe. If we do Joe's TV trope things, I think no matter how many times you do, it still has a huge hit.
Listen.
That you can never feel comfortable with the concept of being a cannibal. Like even alive with these fucking skiers in a mountain dying.
Are you kidding me? What?
You're eating me in the mountain?
Listen, this is what I'm getting at. What
are you getting at?
When the apocalypse happens, right, and you make your way up here, and we go down and we get your aunt and your niece or cousin rather,
cousin and cousins,
and my brother and his wife and my niece and nephew.
Oh yeah, we're all in the same neighborhood,
and we're all up on the fucking hilltop here on Moose Hill, and from Moose Hill, the nuclear winter or whatever the fucking winter gets really bad because climate change fucked us up enough where the winters from this point on just get colder and colder. Whatever the fucking case is, right? And Katie dies, who knows a little bit about growing shit.
So in your fantasy here, Katie's dying.
No. This isn't a fantasy. This is a nightmare, right?
Reality of a nightmare.
And
you're stuck with me instead
of
Katie.
And whoever else in our group thinks that they know shit about growing stuff also happens to not make it. Then there's like 12 of us, right? None of us know how to farm or grow more than a fucking spider plant that just don't die, right? Like. Literally, those fuckers don't die. What are we going to do, Phil? You going to go eat the fucking red berries that taste like burning? What are we going to do?
Eat rats?
We got to start making hard decisions. You ain't eating my cat.
I'm eating
rats. The next motherfucker that goes down or gets a broken leg,
rats and squirrels. I go.
You might be fucking dinner. I might be the next one that gets a broken leg, but. Here's the thing.
You wouldn't go rats. Joe, you wouldn't go rats and squirrels and bugs and all that sort of
Dude,
shit
have
first?
fun chasing down a fucking rat. You know how to make a snare? We better go to the library and hope that somebody hasn't fucking taken that book.
Your
or we're
cats are
going to
catching the mice.
libraries.
Your cats are catching the mice.
And they're eating the fucking mice. They ain't bringing them back.
We're eating the
They're
family.
fucking hungry. There ain't no fucking 9 lives out there. They're
We're eating the
bullseye
family
full,
of
dude.
raccoons in your fucking garage there.
There's got to, like Luna, there's got to be a library book out there. But, you know, in the middle of winter, it's a little too late. And if we didn't do shit right in the spring, we're fucking suffering.
I have a quick question for the live chat watching live. Do you prefer the dual vertical view of this right here? Do you like our circles, or do you like horizontal? I'm curious what. I'm curious.
You want Phil on top?
Or do you want? Do you
Or
want?
do you want us to spoon?
Yeah. Do you want a side by side spooning? We're curious. Okay. Area code 773.
Joe, Joe and Phil. Yeah, it's me again. I had a question, and this involves you, both of you, like at least both of you. For the next live, which will be the final episode, I wanted to know, will you have more guests on? Is that possible? Like, I would.
Very possible. I know you're going to ask about specific people, but very possible. If the Walking David pops in the live chat right now, I'll send him a link to jump in. And I don't know if Tony's watching the episodes live. Tony always has. If Tony messaged me right now and said, I want to jump in, Tony always has an invitation to jump in any fucking time he wants. He's my partner in crime as much as Joe's my partner in crime. So very possibly, I think you're gonna ask about the Kiwi. I haven't. I will definitely do stuff with the Kiwi again in the future, but I don't know if the Kiwi's watching the show. But we'll get into it.
Would love to see.
People say circles, dual vertical, so side by side, but either the circles or the side by side. Cool, sweet. I'm just curious.
The Walk and David also appear live alongside you and Joe.
Absolutely.
And even possibly even invite the Vivid Kiwi.
Yep.
Give you guys a little 4-way action. That would be awesome as.
Thank you so much. David, if David is welcome anytime. In the Kiwi, I've had some amazing times with, and getting to do some of the Better Call Saul stuff. And if I definitely want to have the Kiwi on again as well. And Kiwi is unbelievably invited anytime. And we've definitely talked about doing some stuff together again. Nothing. Nothing. Kiwi was he does like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad stuff, and I had him on one of the recap shows for Better Call Saul.
Is he a Kiwi? Is he from New Zealand?
I don't think so.
Aw.
But we do have some Australia. Pulio likes the circles, so we'll try some circles for a while. Let's stick with the circles. Okay, so Joe, buddy boy, hey, we got Mod Mary. So let's.
Oh, mine looks like an 8-ball.
It does, especially with that. But everyone, you know what?
Does anybody have?
Joe, we still have a bunch of voicemails. Joe, we still have a bunch of voicemails, and we're gonna get to all of those voicemails. But let's not waste any more freaking time, Joe.
Oh yeah.
You know what time it is.
Give it to me.
It's time. Are you ready for it, Joe? Are you ready for
Down
that? Recap.
Yeah. Oh, look at him. I think he already got to the 8-ball. That's why he made mine look like an 8-ball. Oh, I love it. Look at the rock star pajama pants. This is how he dances on stage too, by the way. Like if you go see him at a live show, he runs back and forth across the stage just like that. And he calls it dancing. He does a lot of things well, but that's how he dances. I just made myself crack. I'm so sorry.
Joe, I think I don't know the time you get to spend with the audience when I'm jumping around like an idiot. I don't want to know what you and the audience talk about.
I said that. I'm gonna tell you exactly, because I know you'll watch the stream eventually, or somebody will comment in the. But when he's on stage, this is how he dances. That what you just saw was him dancing on stage. That's,
Similar, yeah. I guess.
And if you like were at a bar, and you're like, oh, that guy over there that looks like that dude that does those songs that are like fakes of other songs.
You're talking about Weird Al.
Yeah, that guy over there that looks like Weird Al / Jesus. I'm gonna go ask him to dance. That's what you're gonna get on the floor.
Thank you, Joe.
I said he does a lot of things really well, but that's what he calls dancing.
But dancing is not one of them. Douchebag. Okay, so in thin air, the number is 781-990-8509. 781-990-8509. Call in. And we got General Grievous in the live chat. We got Steph Snow. We got we got
all the motherfucking
Celeste Bathroom Mustache. Oh, we got some amazing freaking people. We got Laura's still in here with us. We appreciate all of you guys joining us. Call on in. Do that shit. We got, Laura, welcome to a whole ounce of support. You hear that ding-a-ling-a-ling? The ding-a-ling-a-ling of Laura upgrading her support of the channel to a whole ounce of fucking support. Thank you so much, Laura. Toast to you. Let's spin the wheel. That deserves a spin of the fucking wheel for Laura. Let's spin that goddamn wheel. Thank you so much. That helps me keep doing this stuff, paying my bills. Tom P with a super chat donation too. Tom P, old friend of the channel. Haven't watched the last 2 episodes. Not looking forward to it, honestly, but I'll find the time so I can call him for the finale. Cheers, you guys. We got
7 people, 7%. That's like
Joe. Wait till the end. We'll see. We'll see where we get there. Make sure you.
I just noticed. I'm just reading it for the first time.
Make sure you join in our poll. But our first spin of the wheel landed on everyone drink. So whatever you're drinking right now, toast it up to the amazing Laura for being a channel member, supporting me and supporting Joe, and so also supporting Tony as well. Toast to you. Thank you so much for helping us keep doing what we're doing.
Eat those subs, eat those sandwiches.
Eat all of those sandwiches. And Tom P gets a spin of the wheel too for a super chat donation. I can make noise tonight so I can spin the wheel with freedom. Freedom! So, fuck you, Joe. Okay, so.
Yes!
And
as long as a man.
And we landed on.
Well, some landed longer than others.
Oh, we landed on spinning.
Your mother's been talking about me again, I see.
I love that guy.
That guy
isn't that
awesome.
Pine? That's not Piney, is it?
No. Definitely not Piney. That's I don't know if you saw.
Oh, Joe!
The latest season of Jack Ryan.
Oh yeah, Joe. What's funny is you just did a character. It landed on the wheel. Joe does character impression of your choice.
I knew it was gonna land on that because we have the real wig.
Right. So Joe, you need to do a character impression. Can you want to do?
Should I do my Mel Ball?
Yeah, do it. Do your Mel Gibson. There we go.
Mel Ball. So this doesn't involve. We got to set up the Mel Ball.
Mel Gibson in all of his highlight '90s movies gives the Mel eyeball, where he's given the eyeball, like the Mel eyeball. Like watch them all, whether it's Ransom, whether it's Braveheart, whether it's The Patriot. Mel always gives his Mel
right before he cuts the dudes that took Nocta Prima Nocta.
Yeah, he'll give you the Mel Gibson eyeball. Joe is going to give his version of the Mel Gibson eyeball. Here we go. Oh no! Ah! Oh no!
Did I do it?
You did it. You
I couldn't
did.
see it because I'm blind without my
No, that's
glasses.
fine. Put the fucking glasses back on, motherfucker. Okay, so we open.
I'm gonna have to watch. I have to look for that.
Yeah.
Someone timestamp that shit for
I
me.
don't know. Okay, so thank you so much for the super chat donation, and thank you so much for our channel members. Keep those hearts coming. Keep the super chats coming. Keep the love coming. We do appreciate it. So, and thank you so much. Call complete. We got In Thin Air. We'll get to all of your calls. We got 11 voicemails, 2 text messages. We'll get to those in a second. We're just gonna get to a little bit of our recap here. But if you called in tonight, we're going to play your voicemail. We promise. All voicemails. So we open up on a winter mountain, a cold summer's day coming from the water. Some dude is given a Bible verse. Behold, the tabernacle of the gods of your motherfuckers. And like, fuck you. I don't want to hear this shit. So we see a bunch of folks getting service, and one woman's crying. And and they have a sign up that says, when we need, we shall provide. It's like the intervention sign from How I Met Your Mother. You're like when they put up the intervention, it's an intervention. And the dude preacher's got the crying girl. He's like, no more crying, more Bible passages. You know what that means. And he asks her, and they ask, when can we bury him? Who? And in the spring, it's too cold in the winter. That dude never gets buried. Joe, side note, that dude gets fed.
That's his ear. They're gonna bury his ear.
That's dinner.
No, they'll bury his bones. They'll say like, oh well, you know, the bugs can't. You can't look at them. If you wanted to look at them, you'd puke on them.
He's gonna be like Freddy, the dude in charge of this.
Like they'll put a whole bunch of they'll like shit in a bucket for like a week, and they'll dump that into the casket, and they'll be like, listen, you smell that? That's your dad. We can't open it for you. We're gonna bury this.
2 separate lovers.
And then they'll bury their week's worth of shit in the fucking cemetery that she'll go and kneel and pray over for the next fucking 20 years.
The poop is in a bucket. Okay, so the dude's in charge of this group.
After this dude finishes fucking her.
So we get an update from the number one guy, that Troy Baker, that he says, David, we've all lost faith, but we've got to get faith. And we've lost our faith, but we're going to get our faith back. And you're my number one guy. And we got to find...
Do I sense
So we go off to Ellie.
doubt?
So we get all this intro to this whole group. So we go off to who we care about, Ellie and Joel, and she's nursing him back to health, but he's fucked up and he's infected, and not infected, but he's not Gary Oldman. He's not infected, but he's like has an infection. And she's doing her best with the supplies they got, but they need some fucking medicine for this shit to fight this infection. So she says,
well, yeah, he's got a fucking
not staph infection, but he's
gonna have some sepsis going on. He's gonna have some fucking issues.
We're gonna get to it in a second, but dirty issues. Did she do the right thing by sticking where the wound was with the penicillin?
So this is.
From a medical professional.
Gotta say
Joe is a medical professional, so I want to get Joe's.
I'm gonna say this. So there's a few moments in this episode.
I know that's scary, but Joe is a medical professional.
That is very scary. No, it's not. So there's a few moments.
You're very good at your job.
I am, and I'm almost never drunk when I'm there. No, I'm never drunk.
Almost.
Never. So. There is a few moments in this episode where she does these things. And I'm going to include last episode. She goes and finds herself a needle and thread. It would have been nice to have actually seen her like light the needle on fire or any kind of that shit. But it made me think, well, it made Katie think. Because she came in and said it when it was paused here for a minute when I was on mute, and she came to disturb my whole vibe.
Your art.
The
art.
crow came fucking. It's interesting that she knew to put just a little bit of water and not dump it down his fucking throat.
Yeah, no, very true. Very true. Joe.
But also interesting that she didn't know enough to not just give him a shot of penicillin in the ass or in the shoulder or in the fucking thigh or anywhere but directly into
the wound. Let's get to a couple of voicemails here as we're getting into our recap, because
I want to explain this. At first, can I? Because at first thought you
No,
think,
take
she's
your
a
time.
child.
We're not going anywhere, Joe. Take your fucking
Right.
time.
At first thought you think she's a child, and what does she know, right? But she was in this Fedra fucking training to be an officer. They did 0 first aid with her. Past, person's sick, only put a little bit of water so they don't choke. Like, apparently. And then on top of that, it's
Keep those hearts coming, guys.
why? Yeah, we'll just leave it there.
No, Joe's
Like
Joe's
zero training for first aid for her that entire time. She was like, these are the things you would be teaching these kids.
This
right
is
from
the
start.
Joe knows everything music.
Tell me it's not. Tell me realistically that the military dictator government orphanage that's training these kids to be soldiers isn't going to have, like, they're not going to have English class. They're going to have first aid class. They're not going to have history class. They're going to have marksmanship class. They're not going to have gym. Oh, wait, it's called fucking, physical fucking kill yourself because, you're just going to be running in circles all day when you're not doing these other very specific things they're going to teach you to know. And you're not going to be putting that shot in his belly. You're just not, as her.
And
like, also would have been nice to have seen, over the last year, maybe one of them got sick. I mean, that kind of would have been really fucking cheesy and also, but
yeah,
like,
and I don't think that would play well on screen.
No, it wouldn't. It would have been fucking hard.
Carl Wayne says, if you were a child of the apocalypse, you think these things would be first thing you would learn, like where you.
Yes, 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 Carla. Like, why isn't it? This is what you should be being taught in your military dictatorship orphanage school. Like, they're not going to teach you how to think for yourself. They're not going to tell you the true awfulness of the previous governments that led to this. They're going to tell you this is how you stop someone from dying. This is how you fix broken ankles. This is how you fucking kill people. This is how you, like, they're going to teach them to be the most, like, there's a great movie called Unleashed with Jet Li. And unfortunately, Bob Hoskins has a great, like, creepy fucking line in that movie where he's like, my mom always said, here's your impersonation. My mom always said, get them while you're young and anything's possible. And he teaches this Jet Li fucking baby how to be a ruthless fucking murderer. Like unleash him, and he's trained to just kill everything in the room that isn't Bob Hoskins and Bob Hoskins, one or two people in that room. Everything else dies when that leash comes off. Like,
please, Eddie. Okay,
like,
so
that's what you do when you have an orphanage of children that you're training to be soldiers. Like, you've seen it in other shows. What, like fucking Sense8. They're not teaching, not Sense8. Like, what's that Stranger Things? They're not teaching 11 fucking English. They're teaching her how to fucking blow the world up with her fucking mind. Because that's what this kid is going to be used
Matthew
for.
Modine's teacher. Joe, Slim just joined as a channel member with an eighth of support. Spin that fucking wheel, motherfucker. Spin that fucking wheel.
Roll up a Slim Jeansy.
Yeah, Slim. We got to smoke some Slim. Look at it. He's already throwing those emojis in the motherfucking chat. So, and I want to get to the comment from our good buddy Ethan there. These guys are serious. Oh, no, I don't have to say that. Thank you. You're the best, motherfucker. And let's listen to a voicemail. And I have to thank, again, Dan Blackwell for designing this specific song. It was the Fill the Issues guy theme song here for House of the Dragon. But I'll play it. So Dan Blackwell gave us this song right here. and helped design it. Wanted to put some hand percussion in there because of us, but made the song specifically for us, Joe. Give us a soundtrack in the background. So
Yes, Phil was a radio jockey.
yeah, a little bit
For college, WM.
Hey everybody.
96.2.
And then I interned at FNX for a little while too. I did a little intern. But yes, I did a radio show. Joe was on it occasionally while he was playing Warcraft on a Ventrilo server. But I played music and I talked current events. But I did have a radio show. Yes, I did.
We also Katie and I both, the Crow and I
Came
both
in the studio.
came to live. Katie and I still talk about this, and I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Don't get this. Don't have any kind of a Nick fit here.
Oh no.
This is meant in total love.
Let's continue with the show.
No. He called it. He called in while we were there, and I always think about it because he had said epitome, and like I had read that word like the day before to Katie, and like I was like epitome. What that. She was like epitome. And like
epitome.
Nick had said epitome to both Katie and I.
Oh yeah, he did
and
say
you
it,
on the radio.
On the radio.
And I was like
Yep.
epitome. And Katie was like epitome. And he was like
he
like
said epitome.
weeks,
That's true.
Like
it's true.
Like a month later he came out. He's like no, it is epitome.
It's like an.
That's
it's like
how
an,
you could say it. And I was like,
it's
okay.
like an EpiPen. So next up, she says she'll be back, and she goes off with a gun, and she looks around.
It was just funny.
No, it was actually very funny, and that he called in during a tornado at one point too. So
did he?
Yeah, he did. So
like fucking like with like Helen Hunt by his side and a white.
Yeah,
t-shirt.
it was a twister, Joe.
A twister.
It was a twister.
What it was? He was like down in Texas.
No,
Texas titty twister.
I think it was in Texas titty twister. Anyway, Fernandez T not feeling the show. Expects a lot from HBO. Fernandez T, it's great to have you in the live.
Bro's dying over there in the corner.
He goes, I'm dying over here. Okay, so Ellie goes off with the gun and looks around, and we hear her heading off in the woods and snowy hunting. It's very cool, visually really awesome. She's hunting a rabbit, and she runs and she slips like Elmer Fudd, and it's definitely a Bugs Elmer kind of moment, Joe. It totally like we've joked about it a little bit, but she's hunting the wabbit, and this is your point to me, like catching a squirrel. She's like seeing Ellie, who's actually like a killer, not like me. Like I couldn't, like if Ellie can't catch a fucking rabbit, I can't.
Dude,
catch a fucking squirrel.
I ain't catching a fucking rabbit. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'll shoot at those fucking squirrels with whatever and rabbits with whatever. I'm gonna miss every single one of them. My snare traps are not gonna work. If it ain't 200 pounds and in front of me, and I can't fucking run at least as fast as it, we ain't eating that tonight.
Yeah, the only snare I got is a drum, Joe.
And if it is 200 pounds and in front of me, and not human, there's a good chance it's eating me.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Okay, so let's get to a couple of text messages, Joe, because our text messages have been waiting for a while. Wolf says, to clear something up, it is interference to shooting the horse from under Ellie. Phil mentioned shooting tires out. Law enforcement agencies don't train that because danger to the general public. Bullets will go through the tires and hit the innocents. Ricochets can still kill, Joe.
Yeah, they don't ricochet off the cars.
I mean, you could say that metal absorbs it better than
They don't
rubber.
go through the windows. They don't miss the entire vehicle moving. I thought they don't train you to just open fire in public. Like, there's almost no reason. A car speeding away is not a reason to, like, shoot.
Fair. So, area code 859, sorry to zip through a little bit. I have to wonder how much they skipped if they will keep the ending of the show the same as the game. Without spoilers, do you think we'll see a similar ending to the show as the game? Or do you think they'll change things in the last episode?
I think they'll change some things. I got a feeling there's not going to be...
Don't be vague. You're drunk.
Any action.
Okay. So let's move on from that because I don't want spoilers to...
Any of the action between Clickers and Ellie in the subway. Don't be vague.
I wanted to talk about one thing about the Clickers. Last week, when we get the infected in the mall, we didn't get clicking. But on the scenes from last week, they added clicking. Why didn't we get clicking in the actual scene? Like, what the flying fuckburger? Unless I missed it in the episode and I'm wrong, I don't think there was clicking.
You want the short answer or do you want the long answer?
I want the real answer, Joe.
Okay. WB.
Don't give me the fucking CWWB bullshit, motherfucker.
It ain't HBO, that's why. They didn't make this for HBO. They made this for Discovery. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this was made to be put on fucking whatever channel they want to fucking put it on 5 years from now.
So let's get to some voicemails here, Joe. This is from area code 561.
Oh, it's into thin air, fellas. You know, I gotta say, and I think I said this in my last voicemail about a few weeks ago, like, I couldn't tell you how happy I am for you two right now, because you guys have been some of the hardest grinders on YouTube by far. And I've been watching you guys forever. I know I took a few hiatuses there and missed some time and stuff. And then,
but that's the thing about with us. We don't care if you're checking us out the whole time or come in every once in a while and check us out. We appreciate the support. And I'm going to play all your voice messages.
Since before I wore glasses, dude.
Exactly. Since before you wore glasses, Joe. Since when my whole beard wasn't gray.
In my previous call, I spoke about how it was my first time finding Phil again on YouTube because, you know, I was doing my own thing and stuff like that. But Jesus Christ, guys, man, you guys are just nostalgia for me, man. We used to have so much fun talking about like Sons of Anarchy and just random stuff. The earlier days of Better Call Saul.
Yep, absolutely.
And man, you guys just give such a great vibe to the community, and like you're always happy, and like it's just such a comfortable place to be.
We're like the Hulk. We're actually always miserable. It just comes out as happy. We're always angry, but no, we really appreciate. I'm going to play the rest of your message. We're glowing. We're a little blushing right here, but we do very much appreciate your message and all of your sentiments. This has been, regardless of how many people are in the live chat, if it's 5 people or 1,000 people, we've had both situations. It's always a great time, and we thank all of you for joining us. So let's play the rest of this.
You think this is a great time? You should see us in a room together when we're just chilling.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. And we hope to party with you guys in reality at some point. And if you ever come to Boston, make sure you let us know, because we'll meet you guys out at a bar and have a drink with you.
And I'm glad I'm here right now because I've been working my ass off today, and I just needed a break. And you guys,
what's up, Joe?
I a little caveat to that sentence that Phil just said. As long as you promise not to stab us, poison us, or shoot us.
That's why we're meeting in a bar.
Or hit us with clubs with bats.
Joe, that's why we're meeting inside, like in an actual
in a public place.
In a public place. I'm not saying like come to our house.
You never know. I just want that caveat.
No, I'm not saying come to the house. I love all of the motherfucking chat.
You can get stabbed or shot in a bar, bro.
Dude. I had a crazy troll during Better Call Saul. Like we understand. I'm not sure that wanted to like bring me vodka and have sex with me. I'm not.
Yeah. As long as like, you know, you're cool.
We got. You're such an asshole.
Are the perfect break. Joe Dirty Locks, man, you are the dude. Why don't you have a screen name that we can chat you to? I keep searching all sorts of different versions of Joe Dirty Locks, this, that, and I can't find you in the chat because I want to direct messages to you as well. But man, you guys are like top.
Right in the chat, Joe, so they can see what you're.
Not seriously, like you do not get enough.
Instagram on anywhere it's Dirty Lock spelt just like that.
Yeah, Dirty fucking Lock. For a while,
no Joe in front.
For a while, you did it with a W, but I auto corrected it to the other thing.
Credit for what you do.
LAW.
And
in a couple places you throw the W in.
That's only on PlayStation Network is with a
right.
W.
It's
LAW.
If you want to play games with Joe, it's a W.
Yes, on PlayStation 4. Dirty Locks. LAW.
Luna's catching up with the Mel Gibson stare, Joe. Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't check.
I hope that changes. And I know you guys love what you're doing anyway, and you're not really focused on numbers and stuff like that. You guys just have a great
Oh, I'm focused on numbers too. Help me out, brother. You're doing better than I am. We love you. No, I'm kidding. But keep it coming.
time doing what you're doing, and that's the biggest part of who you two are, man. That's just more than respectful. So
Thank you, brother.
again, I just wanted to call in and let you know that and remind you of that. And you'll always have a forever friend in Into Thin Air / Brian, if you didn't know my name.
I did.
But I'll be watching, guys. I'll be here all the time. Don't worry about that. And that's what I got for you, man. Stay real, stay true, and that's what you guys always do. Love you guys both. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Brian, that was an
Thank you.
amazing message, and thank you so much for the support. As we say, we hope we hope that some fucking company goes, hey, we want to pay you guys to do podcasts and stuff, but we do this for fun anyway because we just love getting to talk to you guys. So let's get to a couple more voicemails here before we get back into our recap. And I'm getting to some of our newer voicemails quick right now, but we will get to our older voicemails as well. So if you've called on in, we will 100% play your voicemail before the end of the evening. Area code 773.
Hey, it's probably too late to put in my vote, but I did like that circle jerk, the circle between you and Joe. The circle thing worked pretty well. Also, too.
Oh, the circles.
He called them circle jerks.
If you can get
He totally called this.
to get on.
He totally called it the circle jerk, and I was like, "What is he
I
talking about?"
love it.
Joe, I didn't know what he was talking about at first. I was like, "Circle jerk." I'm sorry to talk over your message, but we'll play more of your messages later. But seriously, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, circle jerk?" Okay.
I love it.
So here we go. Let's get a little bit more of the recap here, and we'll get to all your voicemails. Make sure Issues Guy and Dirty Lux 2024. We'd be great on the Amazing Race too. Vote for us on the Amazing Race. Okay, so she says she'll be back. She goes off with the gun. She looks around, and we get her heading off in the woods in the snowy stuff, hunting and sharing.
Oh,
hunting
did you
rabbits.
enter us into the Amazing Race?
Once I did.
If you do that, if you enter us every season and we ever get picked, Phil, I am fucking 100% in.
I think we'd be
Dude,
awesome.
you can even market that as like the almost 50-year-old fucking.
I think we'd be awesome on it, even at 50.
Are you kidding me?
So she thinks she hears something, and she does. It's a doe, a deer.
We'd win that shit in a heartbeat.
She's
Heartbeat.
So Ellie sees something. It's a doe, a deer, a female deer. And
No, it was not a doe.
was it? It was just a male. It was,
That was a
Bambi.
buck.
Okay,
That was a buck
so
with
she
points.
sees Bambi, and she sees it, and she shoots it. She shoots it like Polly shoots the Russian in the woods in Pine Barrens, and the thing keeps running.
Runs off.
It was just like Pine Barrens, Joe. It was exactly like fucking Pine Barrens.
Almost.
And
Almost.
and
there was no ketchup packet.
And the thing runs away. So she's looking for. So David and James find the dead deer, and they're like, food.
That was hilarious, dude.
Oh, thank you. And then
Should we take it?
And then they grab the deer, and they drop. And then Ellie.
This was hilarious too. They're like, should we take it? I don't know. When we
Should
shot
we
it,
take
they gotta
it?
be close.
They might
if
be
we're
close.
gonna take it, we should take it quick.
Nope.
All right, grab it.
And then we get some 10 seconds of Jesus stuff, and they say we're hungry. Ellie says, I am too, go fuck yourself. And they make a deal, and she goes, you have some medicine, you can have half the deer. They get the whole deer, but whatever. So James...
yeah, well, here's the thing. They get the whole deer because of the way he played that.
He
right?
played it good. He played
menaced,
her. He played her.
menaced up and was leaving with that whole fucking deer. He was not leaving with half a deer. Who took the other half, David? You don't want to answer those fucking questions, right?
No
so
one.
You're gonna have to fucking clean it there.
No
and
one.
all this shit.
No
Can't
one
be,
wants to answer those questions.
Not leaving with half a deer. So he played that just right, and ultimately, what Troy wasn't getting here is if we kill this girl or take this girl right now,
James.
That dude, if he's not dead or dying, is coming after all of us. And we don't want to have to deal with that, right? He plays this very well. So he makes the deal.
He does. He plays her, and he sends her away. He's like, I'm not sending code. Go get the medicine.
Yeah, this isn't code. Just fucking go.
And Ellie's like, stay 10 steps away from me. Get the fuck away from me. David keeps asking questions. David's annoying as fuck. He's like, is your dad sick? There's some weird. Joe, I don't know if you noticed it, but there was
I didn't think he was annoying.
There was a weird audio thing where his voice cut out for a while, but anyways. So
that was your stream.
Maybe it was my stream. So we go out and they go to light a fire, and David's like, you shouldn't be out here alone. And she says the same, and she gives him this fuck you look that she only gives the Targaryen queen. She turned into the little bear a couple times in this episode, where she was given like fuck you little bear Game of Thrones vibes.
No, she was good. She was good. I really thought they had good chemistry throughout.
David and Ellie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree. They did.
I don't know what it was, but there was even in this, like I wasn't getting great vibes off of David until this scene. With the I don't want to say I got great vibes off of David, but like off the actor, off the character,
now, Joe,
off the whole performance.
Joe, it seems like on the show they didn't really waste a lot of time in making us believe that David might be a good person. They almost immediately got to the fact that David's a shit, like the worst of the worst.
They didn't though. I
think they did. I think right away you got the feeling like David was. You have him slapping the fucking random person. Fucking.
That didn't happen yet. That hasn't happened yet.
It happened before he turned on Ellie, though.
It happened after he brought the deer home.
Mm.
Right?
No, fair.
Didn't it? Like.
I mean, we'll talk about it in the recap here in a second. But
yeah, like so.
Love you, Carla. Have a good night, my friend.
He has his flock. They're all sitting there. He preaches to them at the beginning, right? And there's nothing inherently bad about what he's saying, but any random verses out of any of those religious books,
but I'm
can be really fucking like, what the fuck, like,
but I'm
really kind of creepy shit.
But
like
it was very creepy. But I'm with you with the two of them had really excellent chemistry in this episode.
But so the creepy part of David comes in after that when he is with Troy outside, and he's like, "Did I sense doubt?" And he's like, "Oh well, you know, they may have doubt, but they're fine." And I wasn't talking about them, like. They made it seem okay, yeah, so maybe he's not all good. He's another just cult leader. But then they get right back into David's a good guy. He's giving her penicillin. He sent this guy. This isn't code. Like, we don't, like, there's no talk of cannibalism. How much venison and rabbit do we have left?
Yeah.
Right? Like, not so.
In a weird way, and we'll get to that in the recap, but the cannibalism was quick. It came quick. If you weren't paying attention, you could easily miss it.
Well, yeah, if you blink when Joel sees the bodies and blink when they look down at the ear, like, where did the cannibalism shit come from?
Yeah, and it just seemed, and like Ellie just calls it out in that scene. But
well, why else would there be a fucking like what? Like, and that's not. There's a fucking half a fucking ear and big flap of skull skin or face skin sitting on the ground where you put this girl in a cage who was passed out for however fucking long. However many of you were in and out of this room, nobody said, should we take the ear out? I know we cleaned up the rest of the room because there's no blood all over the fucking table. There's no blood all over the floor, but there's a random fucking half a scalp and ear sitting on the ground right there. Maybe we should remove that. Or did he put that there to kind of drop the hint to her, like, hey, we could be high on the hog, eating my whole flock of fucking sheep here. All you got to pay is a little bit of skin, 14-year-old girly.
Joe,
Like, what?
Joe, let's get to some of our voicemails here. 516. Where's 516?
Listening to Phil talk about his initial thoughts, and in terms of the time skips, so there are time skips in the game, similar to what we've seen here in the show. For example, going from what happened with Sam and Henry to then fast forwarding to Wyoming, like that happens in the game. I think the time skips that you're feeling are the cuts where they've edited out gameplay sequences.
Exactly.
So, for example, in this episode, Ellie, when she escapes David at first, in here she runs directly into the restaurant, which logically makes sense that the butcher sort of table is in the back room of the restaurant. But in the game, that is in a separate area, and then you sort of play as Ellie working her way through the town until she arrives and makes it into the restaurant where the encounter happens. So there are moments in the game, and similar with Joel, although they actually did kind of keep the Joel gameplay sections in this game when he's dealing with the hunters back in town. But I think that's what you're feeling all throughout this, that the sort of pacing issue that you're speaking about.
Yep.
Is I think what Joe has been trying to verbalize a lot and has verbalized a lot in terms of, as game players, we're feeling that we're knowing it like we understand what's being stripped out, the gameplay moments are being stripped out, and it seems that you, as a TV-only viewer, are sort of intuiting that something is missing, and you don't know exactly what it is, but it is those gameplay sequences.
100%.
Where, like you said, trails of body are being left, and that has been the balancing act, I think, of having a 9-episode season. Technically 10 episodes because they combined episode 1 and 2. But it's still why I would have wanted.
Did you say pause, Joe?
Yeah. So I do want to say it almost made more sense in the game because your slaughterhouse is not where you keep your your slaughterhouse isn't where you serve your food. Like your butcher shop, maybe, but your slaughterhouse, definitely not. There's a lot of smell. So, like Joel found the bodies hanging, and I guess we're to assume that's in a different area then, because it took them a while, or maybe they play with time. I don't know how it kind of worked.
Time was weird in this episode. I don't know, like the penicillin really worked in 24 hours. Was that a couple of days? We'll get into that in the recap a little bit more, but
like, if you have those bodies hanging somewhere, you're not dragging those bodies all the way from where you had them hanging, where Joel was, all the way over to this other room to cut them up. Like, that just doesn't make any kind of sense to me. So, you're going to take them off a hook and throw them on a fucking table right there and cut off all the parts that you want to go fucking cook and bring them over to a different location and fucking cook them, not cook them next to this putrid, rotting, hard, fucking bled out, fucking guts everywhere, piss poor job of I've never cleaned a fucking human before, dressed a fucking human, whatever you want to call it. Like, there's a lot going on here to unpack. That there are these two different locations and that this random ear is on the fucking floor in that room.
Joe, here we go to a couple more voicemails. I want to get to all these voicemails and we'll get back into our recap in a second.
And that only two people know, but they got to drag these bodies between two different fucking locations that are God knows how fucking far away from each other. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Keep it coming, Joe. Don't hold back.
The more we unpack, Phil, the more I'm going to fucking find this shit. Like, caller, you did it. You did it. You just lowered me from a 9 to an 8.5.
Oh, stop it.
Sorry to keep calling, but
there you go.
There's a good conversation out of this episode. But I wanted to go on or build on the Joe rant and the other voicemail caller who mentioned the point of, like, not having all the violence or not having so much of the infected as a focal point. Sort of stripped away a little bit of at least specialness and so forth. Like, the thing that I think a lot of game players are feeling, and it's something I've been struggling to verbalize until that voicemail really put it out there, is that there is sort of it feels like, and I've defended Neil Druckmann a ton, the creator of the game, in terms of like even choices for part 2, which we won't get into. It's heavy spoilers. But at the end of the day, there's been this sort of fear of embracing the game and the action moments in the game, almost as like, throwing them to the side as if they're not important or they're unimportant. But it is important, so you feel the entirety of the journey and the sort of state of the world and what it's in.
You feeling the caller? You feeling what the caller's saying here?
Yes. I was feeling everything else of what the caller was saying. I just wanted to make that little point.
It seemed like you wanted to say more. That's why I paused. But I'll continue with the caller.
I did. I was peeing. I pulled out the mic. I muted and pulled out this headset, and I was listening while I was returning the beer I bought earlier.
Oh, you peed your pants?
No, I didn't pee my pants. I peed in the toilet, but I turned the fucking volume up. That's why I muted the microphone, dude.
Oh, okay.
I peed my pants, and it only took me 10 seconds to like clean up. I'm just gonna leave myself in my filth.
I was wondering.
I'm a little wet. I put on clean, dry pants.
I was wondering where you went. I was fucking wondering where you went.
Because they want to embrace. They want to really be, sort of this prestige TV and have these scenes.
We got a ding, 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 prestige
pedestrian TV.
I love it.
Talking about her fucking brother and, how unfair it is and et cetera, et cetera. And like, it's trying to emulate a sort of prestige TV show rather than sort of being what it is. Until this episode, where it really was what it was, where Joel was actually...
it was almost prestige-worthy.
We get ADWFT saying Joe Dirty Pants. I like that, Joe Dirty Pants.
Being the Joel we know from the game, I think there was the sort of...
Joe's got very dirty pants.
Conversation that Joel had with his brother was, good in terms of, yes, maybe he is, because I thought about it with the game too. Like, this guy is in his 50s. Like, it's kind of a little bit of a stretch of the imagination in terms of things that he does in the game. But by stripping it away, it sort of also pulls.
Hey, don't hate guys.
And here, hold on. Like when you, like, so here's the thing. In the game, one of the reasons why, and this was really the first game I did this with. So when I got my PS4, I was into like 360 before that, and I've been playing GTA 5 from launch with my 360. And when I got my bundled Last of Us Edition PS4, when I sold my 360 to a woman that I worked with whose kid was going to a military base, he couldn't bring the new 4 with him because of security issues. Anyway, that's a little bit of too much information, but and all that too much information just completely fucking lost my train of thought. Yeah. Want to help me out there, Phil? What did the caller just say? Is Phil gone? Am I frozen? What happened?
Garth, stop it, Garth.
Oh,
you're
Phil,
oversharing.
I'm totally Garth out every time.
Garth, what the fuck? I had to go to the boys' room, and you're like...
You had to go return some beer. I was going good until I lost my train of thought.
And you're Garthing on out here, man.
Oh, big time, dude.
Oh, my...
Big time. What was the call? So when
exactly, Mad Sarah. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I know it's way too much fucking information, dude.
I know it was.
Oh my god, let's get back to the recap. Let's get back to the recap here. So David
completely off the fucking hook.
David keeps asking questions, and he's just like an annoying dad. This is a weird audio thing. David's like,
no.
David's like, you shouldn't be here alone. She gives him the weird Targaryen look. He says, I'm a decent man. Anyone who has to say they're a decent man isn't a decent man. Ellie's like, are you a leader? And he's like, I didn't fucking choose it. She's like, are you in a cult? Are you like Jesus or some shit? And he's like, fuck. She's like, fuck that. He's like, I was a teacher. And she's like, you're a teacher. Now you're a preacher. We get some information about Pittsburgh. But we don't see it, but we get some background information about Pittsburgh. And Dave, and then we get Ellie saying, you got some luck, and we get this typical, atypical tropey kind of religious bullshit. But I like the turnaround that we get at the end of the episode where we're like, he's like, no, I'm just faking that shit. I really believe in the fungus. So he. This is where 1 second, Joe. He turns it around here in this situation where he says, "Yeah, I had 3 people. 1 person died, and I knew it was you, Ellie. I knew it was you, Fredo. You're the one that broke my heart." And he turns it around on her right here in a really good scene where James shows up behind her to shoot her, and Joel killed a dad. Joel killed the dad. Anyways, Joe, sorry, I interrupted you. What were you going to say something?
The caller was talking about Joel's age and how much of what he does in the game can't, like, for someone his age at 50 something is running around doing all this shit for so long. That's why this was the first game I put on grounded mode when I first started and played it through. And I'll never not do that again with any of the games. Like, it makes it feel a lot more real that you're playing as a 50-year-old man. And when you play it like that, you can't just run through and be Superman. And when you play all these games like that, you realize yeah, you want to just hear the story and run through it and be Superman. Fine. That's like cheat code shit. Easy mode is cheat code shit, right? Like, so put that shit on grounded mode and feel the story the way they are really wanting you to feel it. Immerse yourself in the game. Take down the heads-up display. Take down like bullets. You don't have bullets. Nobody's making bullets. Once a bullet gets shot, that shit is gone. It's a shrinking commodity.
Joe.
So 20 years in, like, bullets are a commodity. Like, that's hard to fucking come by. Like, really highlights that this 50-year-old is having a tough journey.
Just like gasoline or other things like that. So, Joe, here's a voicemail for you. Not for you, for both of us.
Like, there's no car. You don't have you get a car that is gone at Pittsburgh. Like, after that, man, you're on foot. There's no more car.
Joe, here's a voicemail from area code 304.
Hey, it's Mad Sinister here. Great work on the HBO official recap show, by the way.
I mean, really, like, when it comes down to it, like, let's not cut through the shit. I'll play the rest of your voicemail here.
It is great work. No, that's right. Let's cut through the shit. We do great work on these fucking recaps. Thank you, caller.
I'm not shitting on Troy Baker, who does his own podcast after show, but HBO, like, come on, fucking hire us. We're out here with the fucking people talking about the fucking shit. Get us on, like, pay us now.
Like, and here's the thing. Like, literally, honestly, people love their fan service. They like to know that what people like honesty was that hold on, that what they thought was so great.
Apulia, we love you. Thank you so much. Have a good night, my friend.
Was that good? And they also want to know
yes, John Haymaker,
that if they weren't sure if it was good or not, these guys want to tell them why it was good and what they missed and all this shit.
Smell their farts.
It works on multiple levels. But honestly, like, let's cut through the shit. People would rather
Jesse.
People like a fucking train wreck. Right? We're a train wreck.
We are a train wreck.
And we're gonna show the people that you're a fucking train wreck too. And they're gonna tune in.
We're definitely a train wreck, Joe. Okay, so let's play the rest of this voice fucking message.
This episode, but I still think the show's pacing is bad and it's not graphic enough. David is so scary. I remember him after playing the game years ago, and that's how effective his character is.
Yeah,
and I thought the actor did a good job. I do have a couple
many bad
small
guys
gripes.
do you remember?
I thought the fires.
What was that, Joe?
Name your bad guys. Your video game bad guys that you remember. Name them right now.
Ganondorf.
Right? Keep going.
Bowser. I'm a Nintendo slut.
But dude,
David, the Lynch King.
Yep. Sure. David.
David. I didn't play Last of Us, but for you,
You would remember
for you,
David.
it's David.
This is like this scene, like he tried like when Joel comes up to her and at the end of her bashing his head in and the building's on fire and shit. Not only are you completely like, thank God I just fucking chopped up this dude's fucking head, but when he grabs you and he's like, it's me, and she exclaims the shit she exclaims in his arms, like, you remember David.
And do you think that was? I think it was. I didn't play it, but do you think that was
For
done?
the rest of ever.
Do you
No,
think that
it's
was
not,
done well from a television standpoint?
it would have been the slight change they made to that particular moment doesn't work as well.
Dolphin.
And I would have liked to have seen in that action sequence, you have to like strike at him a couple of times before he gets the better of you. Also, I would have liked to have seen Joel kill a lot more fucking people getting over to that log.
We haven't had many people that say this right now tonight, but we have Dolphin Time who says, terrible episode. Dolphin Time, if you can, 781-990-8509. Calling in. Let us know what you didn't like about this episode. I'd love to fucking hear it. Let's play. Oh, yes, Joe, go.
I kind of so. Did anyone in the chat? I want to ask this question because someone in the chat just said terrible episode, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. We first terrible Dolphin Time.
Okay, so I'd like to know why Dolphin Time thought this was a terrible episode.
That's what I'm saying.
Did anybody feel like that had? So if you played the game, you know the ending. If you haven't played the game, Phil,
Fernandez T is
did
also
you feel
on
like
a terrible episode.
there was danger to your characters here?
I felt danger for Ellie. Yes, for sure. I thought it was done well in the sense that I felt that when it was going through it, I felt that television roller coaster feeling that I need to feel. So I do think in the moment I was in a position where I was not sure what was going to happen. I obviously didn't think that Ellie or Joel were going to die or be gone in any way, but I was emotionally invested in Ellie's situation. Fernandez T in the live chat says, no danger at all. I didn't feel anything. Anthony says, it was a fantastic episode. Haven't played it. Dolphin Time says, I'm eating right now, but one of my gripes is how Joel couldn't get up earlier when Ellie told him people were coming, and then suddenly, I'm going to add the Dolphin Time, and then suddenly, once he's fine, that's a TV trope. If we're doing,
5 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yeah, if we're doing Joe TV tropes
20
here,
minutes?
Another Joe TV trope is when a character has a horrible injury of some kind, once he can get up to do one thing once, he's all of a sudden okay.
Yeah, and David makes it seem like it's been a day or two, almost in that.
The time I'm confused by how long.
Right?
How long does the penicillin take? A couple of days, right? Not one day.
One dose, one shot like that. A lot might have done more. Like, how much did she put in them? Did she do like? Might have done more damage than fucking good. I don't know. I don't know. That's one of the points where I say go find a doctor and ask him. But you definitely, in my opinion, need some penicillin. But you should check with a doctor and get it from them.
Now Kyle says I loved it. Played the episode. I loved tonight's episode as well. Area code 916. The voice of 916.
Hi, this is the voice at 916 again. Just a quick question. Do you think that the townspeople really don't know that they're eating people?
Listen.
I wonder.
Once you eat beef, and then you eat lamb, and then you eat chicken, you can identify these meats, right? Not everything else that's not one of these pork, beef, chicken fucking meats, right, taste like chicken. No. You know, once you've had venison, if you're eating venison or not. The people meat, I'm going to tell you right now, no matter how much they joke tastes like chicken, I'm sure it has a pretty awful fucking flavor to it. And if it doesn't, that would spell the absolute end to humanity in the apocalypse. Because if it smelled as good as fucking beef cooking, fucking people would have no problem putting fucking legs and arms on the fucking fire pit at all.
So basically after the next scene, he turns it around and he tells James to not shoot Ellie, and he starts connecting, and she takes the drug, she heads out, and David's like, I can protect you, blah 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 blah. And James is like, you're just gonna let her get away? And he's like, no. We have a plan. So Ellie heads in and we get some medicine for Joel. Shit looks bad. She doesn't know what she's doing. She gives him the shot and she shoots it right in the wound. I wrote in my notes here, what the fuck, Joe, would that actually help? I don't know. Like I'm not sure.
No, probably not. Finish 916's.
It was just like 2 more seconds here.
Oh, but dude, it's 2 seconds the fucking motherfucker chat needs.
Yeah,
I need it.
Actually, we got it all. Let's finish.
People? I wonder.
Yeah, we needed that.
I wonder too, Joe. Okay, so anyways, the stuff definitely expires. Okay, so next morning. Oh, okay. So Ellie heads in. She gives some medicine. She shoots Joel's wound, and with the penicillin.
Not sure if that would have done more harm than good. Listen, it's a wound. It's festering. It's pussing. It's bleeding. It's trying to express whatever fluids are built up in there through the open, whatever is left that's open. Otherwise, it's trying to fight maybe close to it, but I'm gonna tell you, like, if there's anything still pussing or oozing, adding that much fluid, it's just gonna that's not the place you want to put it. It needs to be processed through the body correctly. You want to put that in a big muscle somewhere. Most likely.
Mad Sinister, what area code are you? And I cut it off at the end there. I'll play the rest of it. What area code, Mad Sinister, are you? And I'll get back to your voicemail. I'm sorry if I skipped over the end of it. General Grievous, I don't think the showrunners learned their medicine first aid stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but like, I'm also not a doctor. I'm like a 14-year-old also trying to figure it out. I'm thinking no.
You're a little bit more than some. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next morning we get so she cuddles up in bed with him after she sticks him with the penicillin. So next morning we get a big snowstorm, and we get back in town and we're low on supplies. The dude brings in some venison from the situation, and they make a stew, the smartest thing to do when you're low on food. David comes in, he's cheery. He's like, hey,
soup.
He's like, hey, everybody, what's going on? And he's like, this is a big one. And we found the girl, and we'll track them down and find them tomorrow, and we're going to hold Joel in the eyes of God. And the girl, the daughter's like, we should kill him. And David goes over there and he slaps her. And he's like...
And everybody just sits there.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm your daddy. This is some Negan shit going on right here.
Right? Like, dude, no, that shit don't fly.
And he's like, show me respect. Respect my authority. And
like, a leader is a leader until they're not. That's not. You slapped a child because they opened their mouth. That's who you are? What do you do to me when I disagree? When I decide I want to speak up while you're speaking?
And Joe, here we go.
Nope, not happening.
The second
tables are getting flipped. Dude's getting fucking rushed. Nope. Dude's getting stabbed in the middle of the night. Whatever. Like if I think this guy's got like bodyguards gonna get. No, that shit ain't flying. We're out of here, Phil.
What?
This dude's fucking nuts.
Out of here. Area code 3.
Praise Jesus.
Area code 304.
The fire scene should have been longer, and I was really excited for that, and I was anticipating that scene a lot. And in the game, it's a lot scarier. I just thought the scene should have been longer. I also thought the cannibal reveal scene should have been done better. That was kind of weak. And I got a question for Joe. If you were in charge of the show, how many episodes would we get? In my opinion, I would do 12. Great recap, as always, guys. Thanks.
Joe.
15 if you want to keep the Left Behind and still give Frank his entire backstory. But 15. I'd give it a good 15.
So
and he's absolutely right with the other comments that he made.
So let's continue with our recap here, Joe. So David sits down and prays for dinner, and David smugly smiles. Okay, so because he knows they're eating people. So we go over to Ellie the next morning, next few days later.
They're eating that little girl's daddy.
Yeah, and this is where the time gets weird because we cross over to either the next day or because it has to be the next day because David said they're going to send out people to find her the next day, and Joel's wound is so much better, and like so much better. It seems like he's okay now, to a certain extent.
Yep.
24 hours.
It must not have been that bad of an infection.
No, the penicillin shot doesn't, dude.
How many days has he been laying on his back too?
I don't know. Like
Quite the wound.
Too many. Wake the fuck up, Pedro. So Ellie goes out and she tends to the horses and she looks around. Ellie hears out. She hears some crowing and she knows that someone's coming. And the horse and James is there. He says, "Let's kill the girl." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no." And then we go back and forth where they try to kill Ellie, but David doesn't want to kill Ellie because he wants to marry Ellie.
Yep.
Is that part of the game as well?
You get the vibe, yeah. He doesn't quite go as far as what he was as that in that scene, but like you definitely get he's gonna rape her in the last scene.
So they surround her, and the dudes are like, "Let's kill her." And David comes out, and he says, "No, no, 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 no. We're gonna keep her." And he takes a few of them and he leaves a couple guys that are gonna die soon when Joel kills them, and the rest of them go back home. The red shirt guys stay here. The Duck Dynasty red shirt guys. So soon, dead guy number 1 is looking for Joel, who's in bed, because I forgot to mention, Ellie shows up in Joel's bed for a second and gives him a knife and says, "If anyone comes in here, fucking kill him. Don't ask questions, just fucking kill him." And she's going to draw them away. So the guy comes in and looks, and he basically finds where Joel is, but Joel jumps out like a cat. And initially when I saw this scene, Joe, I thought that Joel killed him, but he didn't. He ended up capturing him and tortured him and got information off him. But in the scene, when I was watching it, I wrote in my notes, Joel kills this guy. But then I'm like, oh, no, he didn't. So it took a lot out of him. Speaking of down, Ellie's on the floor of the cell. She's been captured, and David is there, and David is more monologuing, and he's like, "You're safe with me. Stay with me. Blah, 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 blah. I can save you." And I don't know. I didn't mind David's performance, but it went on a little bit long.
What are you expecting from her in this moment? You got to keep a person held for a while.
Yeah, what is she? You gotta play that song like when Daryl gets hypnotized by Negan. You gotta play that song for like months and months and months to get the person to fucking convert. He's like, "Ellie, turn in one day," and it was really unbelievable that David would think that Ellie would side with him. And this is one of those things, Joe. I don't want to trope police me, but it's one of those things that I don't get why any bad guy ever thinks the good guy might side with them. It's such a stupid trope. Like,
Yep.
are you going to side with me? No, she's not. She's never going to do it.
Right? Yep. Phil? You got me.
I got you, dude.
You lowered me another half a point.
I did. No, I'm sorry. We'll get to our scores a little bit later. So we go off to beard guy number one, and he's gonna sneak out. No, Joel already killed beard guy number one. We go off to beard guy number two, and he finds the dead guy, and it's a trap. And Joel clocks him, and then again, I thought he killed them, but he tied them both up, and he tortures.
Yep.
Tortures.
And more violence that we don't get to see.
No, we kind of see the violence. We see.
No, we saw one. We saw the first guy get stabbed. Second guy we just see laying there. The third guy that approached that second guy that was just laying there, it just cuts away. And then they're both tied up.
Joe, I'm not going to disagree with
Doesn't
you.
it? Does it? Do we see Joel in that moment? Does Joel jump out and go, boo?
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I will say that lack of violence and graphic nature was not a problem for me in this episode. Think they did.
I agree.
I think they did a good job.
I agree. Just pointing it out.
Yeah. Okay. Off to beard guy number two, and he sees the dead body, and Joel, they cut. And then he tortures the both guys. He's like, "Where's Ellie? Is she?" And they're like, "She's alive." One of the guys points to where he is in the map, and dude's like, "I'm not lying," and Joel believes him. And other dude's like, "I'm not telling." And then Joel stabs him. Joe graphically kills this dude with a fucking knife on screen.
In the belly.
Stabs him in a fucking horrifying way. And then he kills the other dude with a pipe like he's Opie from Sons of Anarchy. Spoiler alert.
Yep.
So
that's okay. I believed them.
Yeah. And they didn't shy away from it. They fucking.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gonna leave this guy alive?
No.
So he can come after you later.
But
so
Joe,
you tell everybody how you killed the first guy. The second guy.
You've been hard on the show when they cut away from it, but in this scene they lean into it.
They didn't lean enough. They show him swing the pipe. They show him swing the pipe. But we should have seen again him go exactly hard, just like Ellie does.
Now in the live chat, Peggy says David clearly had a god complex. He thinks he can convince anybody. Fernandez says, I wish Joel didn't kill those two long-haired dudes.
Yeah, that's what made me laugh.
Made me dislike him. And Kyle, yes, rest in peace, Opie. Dude's like, I'm not telling you shit, and he Opies him to death. Back to Ellie in a cell, and she's like, listen, fucker, fuck you, you fucker, motherfucker. And this is when it gets kind of gross. He starts like caressing her hand and being
no. This is when it gets kind of good. Ellie shows some real brains here. Or
no, she susses him out right away.
Not gross and not good, but a little character odd for what we know about Ellie. But she starts doing some classic shit here in mirroring the person that she's talking
to.
She
should have even gone further with that to get what she wanted out of the situation. Before we go further, Joe, I do want to get to Dolphin Time's question. How did Joel know they weren't lying? TV trope 101, he just knew, right?
Who wasn't lying?
Joel. Like, how did Joel know that that bearded guy number one wasn't lying? He's like,
okay, listen,
I believe him.
You cause someone enough pain and give them the hope that if the guy behind them that you really trust, that they really trust, is going to give the same answers and get you both out of even more pain. That's how that kind of works.
Yeah.
Right? And the first guy is going to say exactly the truth, because if the second guy gives a different answer, the second guy doesn't like you and gives it on purpose, Joel comes back and does even more horrific damage to you before killing you. So if you don't want the added increased pain and you just want to die, you give the correct answer, I guess, right? But like, if you're like the Crow and I, you've talked about this shit ad nauseum, and it doesn't really matter what kind of pain you provide us. Go fuck yourself, right? Like, it's always just go fuck yourself. So, can and cannot work, but that's the idea behind it. And it doesn't matter what the second guy says because the first guy has been put through enough that he answers. It also works a little different in the game. He does all this horrible shit to the first guy and then goes asks the second guy and then goes back to the first guy or something, maybe. I don't know. It's basically exactly the same. It's probably exactly the same. But that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know if it does. I haven't done it yet. Oh, I'll put it on the list. Yeah, definitely going on the list. But if you do what you got to do to stay alive, pop a guy's kneecap off to get the information you need.
Now, Jesse,
He's going to tell you basically what you want to know, and if that doesn't work, you pop off the next kneecap. If his story changes, now we're going to have to start cutting off toes. Then the story's going to keep changing. So we have to move to fingers. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how that line of torture is supposed to work. Because I'm pretty sure, like, doesn't.
Joe, what do you feel from, as Laura asked in the live chat, what do you feel from the last episode? Action or depth?
Say again? What
do you expect from the final episode? Action or depth?
Neither.
Dolphin Time says, you would think that Joel would have had made sure that the guy wasn't lying because Ellie's life was in danger.
Well, he made sure.
So in this scene, this is
what's the other guy going to do?
The
Well, like, you don't kill the first guy yet. Like someone in the chat said, he choked him out, so he's still kind of alive. And then you ask the second guy, and if the second guy does say the same exact thing, you have your answer. If he doesn't say the same exact thing, you go kill them both. If he does say the same exact thing, you go kill them both. So it doesn't matter what the second guy says. So you don't have to ask the second guy. Like, asking the one guy, putting it all on him enough, that's it. Like, doesn't matter what the second guy says, because if he tells the truth, you have to kill them both. If he doesn't tell the truth, you have to kill them both. No amount of torture from that point on is going to get you an answer that's the same from either of them.
John Haymaker, it's always cake. So this is a scene that Ellie realizes. Ellie's in the cell. She's looking, and she looks down at something, and it's disgusting food. And she's like, I'm not eating this shit. And this is the moment where we start to realize that she's eating people. She's like, you sick fuck, you're eating the dead. And David starts rationalizing it, telling her why they're serving people. And this is where he gets into his young Skywalker, join me, and let's rule this kingdom as a couple here. And she's like, you don't know me. And he's like, I know you. You'd kill me if you got out of here in a second. And I can tell the others to stop looking for Joel, blah, 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 blah. And he reaches in the cell and grabs her hand, and she breaks his fucking fingers. And she says, tell your fucking friends, my name's fucking Ellie, the fucking bitch that's...
Ellie. Ellie's the name of the girl who broke your fucking fingers.
Great scene, depicted fucking awesome. And she doesn't take any of his fucking stupid shit. And I really enjoyed this by both actors. Great performance, Joe.
Yep.
And we cut to Joel, who's made his way into town, and he's looking around. He finds the storeroom, and he eventually finds that some dead bodies hanging out there in the storeroom to show that even more so that we're dealing with cannibals. So we cut to the guards coming to grab Ellie, and she screams, and she plays the infected card. She's like, I'm infected, and I bit you, because I forgot to mention she bit David, and she's like, I bit you. So I have a question, Joe, and I'm going to run in the other room and grab some food, too, in a second, while you answer the question. Even though Ellie is immune, can she infect people?
I have no idea. That's the only answer I have. I don't know. I didn't know when I first played the game. Why would she have, like, just because she's scarred doesn't mean she's still infected or able to transmit. It didn't progress past her arm, so there's no real reason to think it continued to live inside her. It might have been able to live for a time before she fought it off. Maybe it still lives in her. I don't know. If a bite was going to do it, a kiss would certainly do it. Any kind of blood transfer or splash would do it. So it's a good question, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, so we cut to the guards coming to grab Ellie as she plays the infected card, as we were saying right there. And she just
And it
she
works for
kills
that
her.
to pause them, to throw them off.
No, it did. And she jumps and she goes all Wolverine and she's a badass and she stabs James and she kills his ass. And Ellie gets and then she escapes and she's running from David. She gets a log that's lit on fire and David's like, you're locked in, I have the keys. And she throws the fire and lights the place on fire. And he screams, Ellie, I know you're not...
Which goes up real fucking quick.
Real quick. Like it almost like it has gasoline on it or like lighter fluid. And David starts yelling, I know you're not infected. What's the secret? Are you fucking special or some shit? Yep. And I don't know how you're doing it. She grabs a knife. He's like, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to be your daddy and I'm going to teach you. As he's got a cleaver and she's got a knife, and she sneaks around, she stabs him, but he throws her down, and we see Joel, as we get an interesting parallel with Joe, where we get Joel out in the snow while we get Ellie in the fire, and David throws her down and attempts to friggin' rape her, and she...
Yeah, that's your interest. She's in the furnace, and he's out in the cold. Unknowing, doesn't know, lost in the wilderness, and she's in the fire, in the flames, and needs his help.
It's Joe. It's almost like a song of ice and fire going.
Oh
on.
My god! Oh my god!
Sorry, that was bad, but it's almost like that. So Ellie, I'd have to rewatch it to see exactly how Ellie gets herself away for a second, and she grabs the weapon and she. The cleaver. I think it's the cleaver she grabbed. Yep. And she just stabs the living motherfuck out of this dude.
No, the first thing she stabs him with. Did we already get to the first stabbing?
I think this is the first stabbing, right after the...
Yeah, it's like a steak knife.
And then she just goes...
And she stabs him like once in the belly.
And then she goes Il Nana on him and just like... stab the fucking living fuck out of him. And she runs out of the building. Joel grabs her and she's freaking out and crying. And he's like, it's me, it's me, it's me. And then they walk out of the town arm in arm, limping away. And I thought it was an excellent end to the episode. I got a little emotional at the end, Joe. And that's our episode of The Last of Us. You're more... As we broke it down, you're more meh?
Give it a 7.5.
7.5? I give it an 8.5, maybe a 9. Area code 813, Joe.
Hey, Phil. No guitar this time. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
But I just wanted to clarify something. It looked like she had like a 20-milliliter syringe. And she filled it up with like... It was from a bottle. So anything in a bottle has like been... Okay, you keep medicine dry. and then you put it into a suspension for injection. God, be quiet, dog. Dog's barking. But like if this medicine was like put into a
let the dog talk.
suspension, like she drew it from a bottle. I don't know. Like, is this like? Yeah, it looked like prepackaged. You usually keep it like in a, like at least antibiotics. Like, I don't know. That's all I have to say though. I might call back and play some guitar for you if you want. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
813. We always want some fucking guitar. Joe, we got a couple of messages from 773. Let's get through a couple of those voicemails right here.
Hey, Phil, it's me. I had a question I wanted to ask you, and I kind of forgot to ask you, so I'm asking you now. Were you going to do your show for that show Succession? Because I've been watching a few.
I'm not caught up with Succession, but I might check it out at some point in time. I know Joe does not like Succession.
No.
Area code 773.
Hello, it's caller calling for a call time. So you guys are gonna have spoiler chat at a week after the finale.
Yes.
What time will you do it? Is it possible you can do it like
earlier? Yes, we could do it earlier. We could do it before Joe has to pick up the crow at work, but most likely we'll do it at the same time because it ends up working generally at the same time better for us. But maybe a little earlier. We could do it at 9. But then Joe might have to leave before the show's over.
10.
Right. So it's probably better once the crow gets home. Area code 773 again.
Hey gentlemen, it's me again, the caller of the caller. I really want to explain. I really like to believe that Ellie doesn't. If she bites someone, it doesn't transfer. It doesn't make the other person infected. It's something I want to talk about, but I can't technically talk about it now because it's technically considered a spoiler.
Okay, so we'll tread around that lightly. I'm just trying to get through.
I kind of hit on that with my comment there.
Yeah.
I feel it's me.
Thank you, Fernandez.
Normally don't call back when you cut my message short, but I think you'd want to hear this part. If you were able to get the Vivid Kiwi for the final or for the spoiler talk, and if you can get him to do a face reveal, I will probably donate a lot of money to your Patreon or YouTube or whatever the children are calling it these days. If you can get him to do a face reveal, I'll probably toss a lot of money your way.
I can promise you I will not be able to get the Kiwi to do a face reveal. But I appreciate that voicemail, and I appreciate all your support on the show. And all of you in the live motherfucking chat show. We're going to come back for next week. Let's get to our poll before we end things here. We got... let's end our poll and see what people thought of this particular episode. We got thoughts in this episode. 40% of our vote said, fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 38% said, pretty damn good. 13% said, decent episode, okay. And you talked about this earlier, Joe, but I cut you off. 7% says, this was shit on a stick for me.
See, I can't say shit on the stick for sure. But after we finish talking about it, yeah, maybe.
So what is your score? You said it earlier.
I said 7.5.
7.5. I'm gonna go a little higher than you.
Or 7.
I'm gonna go 8. 8.5. And what's your vote going into the finale for the entire season as a whole, as a representation of one of your favorite franchises of all time? Out of 10 side buttholes here, what are you going?
I think it's unfortunate. The changes they made from the game, sans one big glaring episode, were pretty bad.
But as a whole for the season, out of 10,
if you remove absolutely everything that wasn't game. It's almost a 10-10 adaptation.
So everything you don't like about the season is the added stuff.
But that's not a fair statement because there's added stuff that I really like. Episode 3 I thought was fantastic. The stuff they stopped doing after the first 2 episodes with the panel. Like if they had started every episode with like a 5 minutes of some past clip of like the TV thing from the 70s of the Indonesia or wherever it was, the Philippines, wherever, I
Yeah.
don't even remember, the scientists there, or like did more of that, I would have been happy. I liked that stuff. Kathleen shit was bad. Like going for regular TV tropey shit was bad. Like not showing more of the action and violence was poor choice. Like there's a lot of things that are wrong, but like yeah, if I were to like rate the whole season pre-finale, it's
Pre-finale.
going 6.
6. 6. Laura says 7 out of 10. Grievous says 8 out of 10. Kyle says 9 out of 10. Fernandez T, I think, says 5 out of 10. How cheap and goofy was that compound attack when they rushed the traps like dork, like Kevin McAllister? Fernandez T says episode 3 is 4 out of 10. Street Fighter says Jesse. Raul Julia is the ultimate Bison. Don't hate on that, Bison. Dolphin Time says, worst episode of the season, hoping the finale is back to episode 1 through 3 quality. Peggy says, you're pretty negative for a 6 out of 10, Fernandez, going back and forth with that in the live chat. A couple people are excited for our spoiler chat. Joe, are you excited going into the season finale?
No.
Because
even though I really liked what I saw when I saw it, after talking about the episode more, I have a lesser opinion of what I saw. And I'm going to go watch it again with Katie in a minute.
Yep.
And a lot of that stuff is going to really sink in even harder. And on top of that, I have repeatedly been, I feel like I've gone over that roller coaster hill, and now we're just on flat ground.
There's no coming back.
There's no turns. Like I'm sitting in the front of the roller coaster.
You're not getting in the queue
we
again.
went over that hill a long time ago, weeks ago, and I can see, or we got to the top of the hill weeks ago, and I could see everything in front. There was no down. It was just like miles and miles of flat track at the top of the hill. So I had like 3 weeks of like this like roller coaster going all the way up this huge hill, and then like letdown after letdown. Like, oh, there's a turn. Maybe it's gonna like plunge down after this turn around the bend. Okay. Maybe after this next turn, I see 3 miles up the track there. No.
Joe,
But like I said, tonight's was a good episode, but I'm not excited.
Going
like
into,
if anybody would ask me, "What are you watching, Joe? What should I?" Yeah,
Oh, Joe,
should I still check that out?
Joe, before we go,
I don't know if you need to.
You promised to tell people what else you're watching. What else?
So I wanted to tell you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
The Shrinking.
Yeah, it's a great fucking show, right?
Dude.
I might do a podcast on it. I'm glad you're watching it, so you can join me. It's one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. It's really good.
And so yeah, we burned through that in one day. That was good.
Yeah.
And then,
Harrison Ford it's the best thing I've seen Harrison Ford in 20 years. He's so good. He's so good on it. And if you like Jason Segel,
he's great in this too.
It's him at his best.
And
the
actress, the Daily Show was really good.
The actor, she's amazing on it, and so is Krista Miller. It's a really, and so is fucking what's his name from Married with Children and Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, he is fantastic. He is absolutely
Jefferson.
Jefferson. Every time he walks through, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
He is perfect.
If you have Apple Plus and
I honestly, so I'm thinking like
watch The Shrinking.
I'm watching and I'm thinking about him while I was watching it and like after one of his scenes and I'm like, I really can't think of anyone else that would do this role as great as he does. And maybe I came to like who's Tin Cup's nemesis there? Maybe
Don
him.
Johnson.
Not is that Don Johnson? No. Sorry. Gilmore's menaces.
Roger Waters.
No, not David Gilmore. Happy Gilmore.
Shooter McGee.
Shooter McGavin could possibly do it, but other than that, like nobody could do that dude's role like he's doing it. He's great in Shrinking.
No, he's great. He's fucking awesome in it. Ted. Ford is best in 1923. I've heard lots of great things about 1923, but I haven't watched it yet.
No. So I watched the first couple episodes, and Ford is good in that, but he is much better in Shrinking than he is.
In the most recent episode.
He's funny. He's funny as fuck.
And it's not the same show, but if you're a Scrubs fan and you like that emotional like stuff that's gonna make you cry and laugh silly at the same time while being like poignant as well, you can tell it's from the same creators as Scrubs, even though it's very different. But you can feel, or Ted Lasso or whatever.
And I started watching Ted Lasso. That was the other thing.
Yeah, if your Apple Plus has some really good shows. The moral of the story is Apple Plus has some good shows. Severance, Ted Lasso, Shrinking, all really fucking awesome shows.
And so when I leave here, I'm going to watch The Last of Us and then probably some more.
Shrinking's on Friday.
I've not Shrinking. I mean, I'm going to watch The Last of Us and then more Lasso.
Lasso is also a Bill Lawrence Scrubs. It's made by the exact same people that are doing The Shrinking. Like it's the exact same people work on both shows.
Huh. Yeah.
So there you go. Shrinking it's not going to be a show for everyone, but
it's just Shrinking.
Shrinking. It's a good show. I think it's a tight cast, and the daughter's good too. And the dude that plays the army guy that lives with them, he's awesome too. Like the whole fucking cast really works together. Awesome. Krista Miller, Drew Carey show, Scrubs. She is funny as fuck, and she's Bill Lawrence's wife. But it's a situation where nepotism really works out really well because she's just really awesome.
She's good for this role.
She's good. She has amazing chemistry with Harrison Ford and Jason Segel. Like when she's in a scene and with what's her name.
They said to her, and I said this to Katie too, and I didn't know that about the Scrub shit that you just said. But when I was watching her, I was like, it's almost as though they said to her, we want you to play the exact same character you played in Scrubs.
Yeah, Jordan.
But we want you to be a mother after 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what you kind of get from that character.
So if you liked Forgetting Sarah Marshall and you're a fan of Jason Segel on How I Met Your Mother or him in general, absolutely check it out. If you're a fan of Harrison Ford, I think it's the most engaged in a role. I haven't seen 1923 yet, so I can't speak to it. But it's the most engaged in a role I've seen Harrison Ford in fucking years. You can just tell he's having a good time. There's an episode where he plays stoned, and spoiler or whatever.
That is fucking hilarious.
And he just plays it so good, like subtle, but so fucking good. All the actors work. I forgot the best friend, the lawyer character. Everything works out for me. And
it's like they said to him too. We want you to play like I'm watching him, and every second he's on screen, I'm like, they told him that they want him to be both Will and Jack.
Yep.
at the same time from Will and Grace.
And I will also add, as Laura said in the live chat, I did watch the Chris Rock special, which was funny as fuck, and the after show, which had David Spade, Dana Carvey, and Arsenio Hall, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in an after show. I like that Netflix experimented with live TV and live events because it made the Chris Rock special an event. Like, everyone check it out, watch it. I went out and I came back in and I checked out the Chris Rock special. It was like watching something live. As much as streaming and binging is awesome, seeing a binging channel like Netflix do a live special like that was really awesome because it's really fun to have an event television kind of situation like that. So I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was good to hear Chris Rock go at Will Smith at the end there. That was funny. But
I missed that shit.
Check it out. The after show, I don't believe is still streaming, but you can check out the Chris Rock special on Netflix. It should be up right now. Joe, I will talk to you next week for the final episode of The Last of Us.
Hell yeah!
Are you excited? You're a little.
I'm excited for our show.
No, I am excited to talk to you again. It's been fun. Excuse me, I'm burping. It's been fun to get into it. So, and as I get the last song, if you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel with a friend. Joe and I will talk to you next time. I probably would have gone longer, but I'm pretty fucking drunk. But
I'm starting to spin.
I am too.
Like, honestly, I don't know if you noticed. I've been chugging my water.
No,
and coffee.
I don't know. When I slipped away and got food, I was starting to spin. I was definitely starting to spin, and I started to lose my energy there.
That's why I kind of got quiet and let you yada yada.
Yeah, we yada yada at the end of the episode a little bit. I don't even quite remember it.
I'm spinning, dude. Beer's got me spinning.
Yeah, but we will be drinking and having fun again next week. We'll be here for the finale. And maybe I'll be back midweek for something else, but if not, I'm going to probably be on Wednesday night with Tony Teflon. Check that out on Teflon TV. And on Wednesday as well, my band, Two Piece Trip. Oh, sorry, as I stop this shit. Two Piece Trip will be releasing our first song, and it'll be on Spotify and Apple Music and all that motherfucking shit. Check that out. Railroad Tracks. There's a little bit of that song as we go out. Check it out. Stream that song. Help us go. Little fucking Railroad Tracks. We'll talk to you guys next time, Joe. Love you, man. See you next week.
To the floor, wait on the trails of the railroad tracks. You got to find your ways, laugh all days, cause that's a fact. Wake it now, wake it.
The middle of the sun.
A lion horse and holding a one. But you need. Find your ways, laugh for days, cause that's a fact. Wake it now, wake it, the mantle of the sun. A lion horse and holding a wand. But you need a little luck, a little luck, a little luck, a little luck. My Uncle Buck.
Gotta love Uncle Buck.
A little luck, a little luck, a little luck.
Uncle Buck got shot in the fucking face today. chopped up and bonus too.
That full of days because that's a fact. Craig's very good. Exactly. I'm all right on. I'm playing drums and singing on it, but fucking my cousin Craig is an excellent guitar player. He's also playing the bass and the keyboards on it as well.
Funny, I can see Craig's face while he's playing the guitar.
And we're off.